This is a live broadcast of this Senate this morning, brought to you by KBC in partnership with the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit. Remember, being on a Wednesday morning, Cabinet Secretaries, person to the standing orders of the House, are mandated upon invitation to appear before the Senate plenary to answer questions of concern raised by senators. And this morning, we expect the Cabinet Secretary for Water, that is Eric Muga, and the CS for Transport and Roads, that is Davis Churchill. The two will be appearing before the Senate plenary this morning, all the way up to 1 p.m. to answer questions. Among them is some questions by the Senator for Kitui, Senator Enoch Wambua, who will be asking the Cabinet Secretary to provide an update on the status of solarization plan for the Wikithuki irrigation scheme project, as well as the reasons for any delays or challenges encountered during its implementation. The Senator for Kitui also wants to understand the current status of the fencing plan for the initial 500 acres of land under the Wikithuki irrigation scheme, and the Cabinet Secretary is also required to explain the reasons behind any delays in the completion of the fencing. The Senator for Muranga, Senator John Newton, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Transports, why does the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, use privately owned motor vehicles for patrol on highways? The Senator also wants to understand who owns these patrol vehicles and how their services procured, and whether KENHA has plans to acquire its own patrol vehicles like other state corporations. The Senator for Kilifi, Senator Stewart Mazayo, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Roads. The Senator has a number of questions. Among them is the question on when will the Mombasa-Mtwapa Kilifi Road project, which according to the Senator is key for the northern transit and transportation corridor, be completed. And apart from the completion question on the Mombasa-Mtwapa Kilifi Road project, Senator Mazayo also wants to understand whether there are plans to install lighting at the Kibarani Changamwe interchange in Mombasa County to enhance security and vision for motorists at night. Question number 2 from the same Senator for Kilifi is a question on the status of the planned expansion of Malindi International Airport, where the Senator wants the Cabinet Secretary to disclose the total acreage of the land earmarked for the expansion project and indicate the number of affected landowners. The other thing is whether the government has measures put in place to fast-track the compensation process, and could the Cabinet Secretary provide a timeline for the full payment of the outstanding compensation of the amounts. Away from the two senators, the Senator for Machakos, Senator Agnes Kavindu, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary the reasons for the delay in the completion of Kakuku Ekalala Matu Road in Machakos County. She also wants to understand whether the government has plans to commence the reconstruction of Miuinganga Bridge in Masinga Sub-County. This is Machakos County, which was swept away by floods, and what are the projected timelines for the completion. If you're just tuning in, the business of the Senate is just about to commence. It is exactly 6 minutes after the time appointed for the Senate sittings on Wednesday morning, a day when the House has set aside the morning sitting to have answers from various Cabinet Secretaries who at any particular time are appearing before the House to answer areas of concerns raised by senators. The Sergeant-at-Arms has already stepped into the chamber, closely followed by the Speaker. And on your screens, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Amason Kingi, already in the chambers, ready to preside over the business of the Senate this morning. So kindly allow me to hand over for this live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka, sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamii hii yetu. Twakuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, we have quorum. Sergeant-at-Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
It is that time that the quorum bell is on ring mode as per the directives by the Speaker this morning, and the 10 minutes is a period for senators who are yet to make their way into the chambers this morning. You can see them on your screens already making their way into the chamber to allow the House raised quorum to commence business this morning, or to proceed with the consideration of the business before the Senate this morning. The report of the Liaison Committee on the activities and operations of the Select Committee during the third session of the year 2024 is among the motions before the Senate this morning. The chair of the Liaison Committee will be seeking to have the House note the report of the Liaison Committee on the activity and operations of the select committees during the third session of 2024, pursuant to Standing Orders number 224, subsection 2, and that report was laid on the table of the Senate on the 28th day of May. there is yet another motion where the Senator Veronica Maina is seeking to have the Senate note the report of the parliamentary delegation to the 2024 Joint United Nations Interparliamentary Union parliamentary hearings that were held at the United Nations headquarters in New York. This is a motion on these parliamentary hearings that were held in the US on the 8th to the 9th of February 2024. Senator Veronica Maina, who was the leader of the Kenyan delegation, and she'll be seeking to have the House note the proceedings from that hearing. The report of the proceedings of the parliamentarians' dialogue at the Africa Climate Summit that was held on the 23rd in the National Assembly chambers in Nairobi, Parliament buildings, between the 3rd to the 6th day of September 2023 is also lined up for consideration this afternoon, this morning. Seemingly, my day is moving quite quickly. It is exactly 9:43 a.m. The Senator for Homa Bay, Senator Moses Kajwang, will be seeking to have the Senate note at the Africa Climate Summit of 2023 that was held at the National Assembly Parliament buildings between the 3rd to the 8th to the 6th day of September 2023. That report was laid on the table of the Senate on the 2nd day of October 2024. The whip is out of the chamber on his way to rally senators to make their way into the chamber this morning to raise that pertinent number required to have the quorum of the House. I want to believe that quorum has been achieved, so kindly allow me to hand you over back to the live proceedings of the chamber.
We will order Senator Nyotu. Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order. Senator Mundigi, be orderly.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion.
The chairperson's led committee on delegated legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to give notice to the motion of extension of time, the Environmental Management and Coordination Strategic and Integrated Environmental Assessment and Environmental Audits, number 2, Regulations 2025, Legal Notice number 71 of 2025. That aware that the Environmental Management and Coordination Strategic and Integrated Environmental Assessment and Environmental Audits number 2, Regulations 2025, Legal Notice number 71 of 2025 were tabled in the Senate on Wednesday, 9th April 2025 and referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation for consideration pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Statutory Instruments Act, cognizant that the committee is required to make a report within 28 sitting days after the date of referral of the instrument by the Senate, pursuant to Section 15(2) of Statutory Instruments Act, which lapsed on Thursday, 17th July 2025, aware that Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of a statutory instrument by a period not exceeding 21 days, noting that the committee is in receipt of concerns by the public on the imposition of exorbitant fees and justified and punitive fee increments through the said regulations, thus compelling the committee to further interrogate the issues. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves to extend the timeline for the consideration of environmental management and coordination, strategic and integrated environmental assessment and environmental audits, number 2, Regulations 2025, Legal Notice number 71 of 2025, for a further 21 days pursuant to Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, to enable the committee consider objections raised by the public and make its resolutions on or before 7th of August 2025. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Now, honorable senators, we have 11 questions that are due for response this morning. We have 2 CSs. We will start with the CS in charge of water, who has 2 questions. That is question number 63 and question number 96. Now, we need to agree on how we are going to prosecute that business. We only have up to 1 p.m. to get the response and interrogate the responses from the 2 CSs. And therefore, I will be allocating time to each of these questions. So each question will be given a maximum of 15 minutes. So after the expiry of 15 minutes, we will move to the next question so that we cover all the 11 questions. I'm informed that the CS in charge of water is already in the chamber. Clerk, can you confirm that? Thank you. Honorable CS, welcome to the Senate once again. We will straight away move to question number 63 by the Honorable Senator for Kitui County, who I'm told is not present. However, he had delegated Senator Wafula to ask this question on his behalf. You may proceed, Honorable Senator.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity and to welcome our good minister here. I want to go straight to the question that has been presented here, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Senator for Kitui, Honorable Enoch Wambua, to ask the Cabinet Secretary for Water and Sanitation, question number 1. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide an update on the status of the solarization plan for the Wakituki Irrigation Scheme project, as well as the reasons for any delays or challenges encountered during its implementation? B, what is the current status of the fencing plan for the initial 500 acres of land under the Wakithuki irrigation scheme? And could the Cabinet Secretary explain the reasons behind any delays in completing the fencing? C, could the Cabinet Secretary elaborate on the overall progress of the Wakithuki irrigation scheme and outline the specific measures being taken to ensure the project becomes fully operational without any further delay? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Now, Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond. However, your written response has been circulated to all honorable senators, and therefore you need not read verbatim. To save on time, you may just highlight the response that you've already filed. You may proceed.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to address the House. And the question on Wakithuki irrigation scheme is, the responses are on page 5 of the circulation. And just a brief background, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, is that Wakithuki irrigation scheme is in Seikuru, that is in Mwingi North constituency, Kitui County. And it was a project that was done in the year 2013 to 2017. The scheme was meant to cover approximately 1,000 acres. And the first 500 acres were completed, and there is mango farming in the 500 acres. The remaining 500 had suffered issues with power, but this was resolved by installation of transformers. Honorable Speaker, the main challenge here was the power bill. That is the O&M, operations and maintenance. And the bills were high because this was a pumping scheme. But NIA and working hand in hand with REREC have developed a concept note to solarize the irrigation scheme. And this partnership has done preliminary designs that will cost approximately 400 million to implement. The concept note, Honorable Speaker, has been submitted to the National Treasury for funding consideration. Honorable Speaker, on the B part of the question, where Honorable member asked about the status of the initial 500 acres of land, we can confirm, Honorable Speaker, that the Wakithuki irrigation scheme borders Kora Game Reserve, and this exposes it to human-wildlife conflict that is expected in such kind of scenarios. And to address this, the initial part of the contract allowed fencing of the first 500 acres, which was done, but because of other challenges of these has been vandalized. Some sections of the fence have been vandalized. And the remedy for that, Honorable Speaker, is that in the concept note that has been submitted to Treasury, fencing is part of that concept note. Part C of the question, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, was to elaborate on the overall progress of the scheme and outline the measures being taken to ensure the project becomes fully operational. And Honorable Speaker, the plans to solarize the scheme as a long-term strategy that is aimed at lowering operation and maintenance expenses is on the way once funding is secured. But for long-term sustainability of the project, capacity building efforts are ongoing to empower irrigation water use associations, we call them IWA, to effectively manage and maintain the scheme. And Honorable Speaker, the IWAs have been sensitized, supported, and have submitted an application for registration with the Registrar of Societies. In terms of future, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I note that the scheme has the potential to irrigate approximately 10,000 acres through a gravity-fed system. However, this hinges heavily on the proposed upstream dam called High Gram Falls Dam, and that is the long-term strategy. Speaker, honorable members, I submit. Thank you.
Honorable Wakoli, do you have any supplementary questions? If yes, you may proceed to ask.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The questions have been answered adequately, and the budget estimates for the solarization process is quite enormous. I would just like our good minister to tell us, in the budget estimates that went through the other day, I don't know if the monies that you have under your ministry will allow you to proceed with a budget of 400 million, because I foresee a scenario where you will spend your office running resources to solarize this dam. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Wakoli, for the question. As I've indicated in my responses, Honorable Speaker, is that this program was done between 2013 and 2017. And the vandalism that has caused some sections of the fence to be damaged and the high electricity bills because of pumping system has necessitated the ministry through the agency responsible to develop a concept note. This concept note is at the Treasury. I owe it to the Honorable Senator to tell him that the concept note is at Treasury for consideration. So in case we get resources, and I'm hoping we get resources because this is very key, we can start actualizing the program. Thank you.
Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to request the Cabinet Secretary to tell this House, because the Kenya Kwanza administration had a plan to construct 1,000 dams across the country. Could the Cabinet Secretary tell us at least how many dams have been completed so far? Constructed already, completed, installed, or uncompleted. So could the Cabinet Secretary give us at least a number of dams that have been completed as per the Kenya Kwanza administration plan?
Senator Gataya Mwenda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, recently the Honorable Waziri was at my county. He was doing some inspection at a place called Kibunga. There is this water project called the Kimiki Kibunga Water Project. It has been within for quite some time, across almost like 10 years, with very many promises that have not been kept. So, Honorable Waziri, people from Tharaka-Nithi would want to know whether there is any allocation and the timeline on which these projects are likely to be complete, and when people are likely to get water across Kibunga, Marimant, all the way to Marawa. On a rejoinder, Honorable Speaker,
Senator, you asked your question.
It's just the same question, Honorable Speaker.
No.
Just
Allow the minister to respond. Senator Mungatana.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted the minister to tell us the government policy. When you take land that belongs to the people for irrigation purposes, as you did in this case in Sekuru, and then you take so long to do it, what is the government policy? Don't you have a policy to return? And I'm asking this in respect to the Tana and Athi River Development Authority irrigation scheme, the TDIP. That project, we have information that TARDA is no longer going to be doing any work. Can you confirm what the government policy is? All that land you've taken, are you confirming to us that that land now goes back to the people or goes back to the county government. Can you confirm to us what the government policy is? When you take land, you don't do the project, and the land is still remaining in the hands of government. We want to have a clarity of thought, because if that land is not returned, then it becomes subject to land grabbing. I want a clarification on the processes of returning land back to the county or to the people where you've taken that land. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I just wanted to get an answer from the CS about when they plan to fence Masinga Dam because of the hippos and crocodiles eating my people there. And when I approached the Wildlife Ministry, they told me this is the work of the Ministry for Water. So I want to know if he has any plans soon to fence Masinga Dam to protect my people from being affected by the hippos and crocodiles.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The first question was on the plan to do 1,000 dams to completion. And Honorable Speaker, I have to be very candid with yourself and also the House, because water infrastructure is not cheap. It is capital intensive. And when you talk about 1,000 large dams, most of them were scheduled to be implemented under public-private partnerships. And public-private partnerships means a proponent has to invest their money and recoup that money in a stipulated duration of time. Unfortunately, investments in water have not been very lucrative in public-private partnerships because our tariffs are not cost recovery. Specifically, 1 liter of water in the supermarket goes for between 50 shillings and maybe 100 shillings.
Honorable CS, the question was very direct.
Yes.
How many dams have been completed so far? Say either 2, 10, then you move to the next question.
Okay. We have some ongoing, Honorable Speaker, especially the large dams. We have Mwache ongoing, we have Dhuake ongoing, we have Uma ongoing, and these are some of them are suffering from financial challenges. So the answer to that is for large dams, we have not completed any of them. Or small dams, I can provide a list, Honorable Speaker, so that I give a conclusive answer. Yes, yes. The question on Kakimiki Water Project. Kakimiki Water Project is meant to serve the areas of Marimanti all the way to in Tharaka constituency. And this project was complete 10 years ago, but the pipelines were on people's property. So the non-revenue water was very high. The program we have now, Honorable Speaker, and this is questioned by Honorable Gataya, is first of all to align the pipelines to public will-lives to reduce the non-revenue water. That program is ongoing, and I was there the other week, and we are looking forward to complete it in a year's time. The question by Honorable Mugatana on government policy on acquisition of land. Honorable Mugatana, Tarda is government land. And government land, if I understood you correctly, that means it is owned by the government. So I don't foresee the need for compensation. But you asked about the policy. The policy is whenever the ministry acquires land from private parcels of land, we go through the normal process of National Land Commission, where there is evaluation and then there is compensation. That is the government policy. The question by Senator Kavindu, fencing of Masinga Dam. Masinga Dam is under the Ministry of Energy. And it is unfortunate for this. Thank you.
Now, honorable senators, the 15 minutes allocated to these questions have lapsed. We will therefore move to the next question. Senator Kavindu, you have just been informed by the CS that Masinga Dam that is the question that has been answered. That Masinga Dam is under the Ministry of Energy. That is the response you've been given. How you treat that response, you know exactly how to go about it. So let us move to question number 96 by the Senator for Embu County, Senator Alexander Mundegi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Senator for Embu County, Senator Alexander Mundegi, to ask the Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation and Irrigation. A. What has occasioned the delay in commencement of the construction of Kamomo, Dhosi, and Zampana dams in Embu County, and could be the Cabinet Secretary outline the occasions taken by the government to resolve the issues? B. Could the Cabinet Secretary also outline the measures in place to fast-track implementation of these dam construction projects and provide timelines for completion of each dam?
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Honorable Speaker, in response to the question by Honorable Mundegi, Kamumu Dam is a zoned high rockfill dam that is 60 meters high, 725 meters long, that will store approximately 22 million cubic liters. This project is expected to cost approximately 6.65 billion Kenya shillings. And the project was developed by Tana Waterworks Development Agency. There was an expression of interest on the same in December 2020 under the financing, under the model of engineering, procurement, construction, and financing. Following the evaluation, the Wilman Group of Belgium was identified as a preferred contractor. However, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the project could not commence due to the high cost of financing proposed by the contractor. There were issues with land and well leave acquisition that still remains incomplete according to the RAP, which is the Settlement Action Plan. In the meantime, feasibility study updates are underway and engagements with key stakeholders, including National Land Commission, are ongoing to unlock land-related bottlenecks. And the project is part of the some projects on the pipeline for under PPP framework. Honorable Speaker, in Dhosi Dam, which is a zoned also rockfill structure, 84 meters high and around 332 meters long, is expected to have a storage capacity of around 23 million cubic meters. The project is meant to do some irrigation, domestic consumption, and produce up to 5 megawatts of power, and the approximate cost is around 9 billion. The status is the project was advertised in 2023, and a PIP, privately initiated proposal by a level group company, was submitted by an investor for implementation under the design, build, finance, operate, maintain, and transfer model. Despite the progress, there have been delays that resulted from the complex due diligence processes that are associated with PIPs, particularly technical and financial analysis, appraisals, and also alignment with regulatory and fiscal frameworks. The land acquisition process, that is including RAP, has also not been finalized. And to mitigate these challenges, the ministry has reviewed and validated the submitted designs, initiated interagency coordination to fast-track evaluation, and this is also scheduled under the PPP project pipeline. Honorable Speaker, Dambana Dam, at the confluence of River Dambana and Rupingazi, is designed to be 40 meters high, storage capacity of around 27 million cubic meters, and is expected to supply water for domestic and also do some irrigation to around 24,000 acres and generate 1 megawatt of power at a cost of around 22 billion. Conceptual design was completed in 2023 by the ministry, and an expression of interest was again issued in August 2023, and accepted also the same month. However, the proponent did not submit the mandatory deposit fee required under the PPP regulations of 2022 for PIP proposals, prompting the ministry to initiate a fresh process. The second part of the question, Honorable Speaker, was to outline the measures in place to fast-track implementation of these dams construction projects and provide timelines. Honorable Speaker, Kamumu, Doshi, and the Mara Dams projects in Embu County, the ministry has put in place several mitigation measures aimed at resolving the outstanding issues. The measures reflect also our commitment to deliver the critical water infrastructure while maintaining transparency and aligning with the national planning framework. Kamumu Dam is currently being finalized through a cabinet memorandum for consideration and approval. And the memo seeks to secure high-level policy direction and unlock requisite financing to allow for prompt implementation. And in recognition of the time that has lapsed since the initial due diligence activities, the agency, which is Tana Waterworks Development Agency, has commenced the process of updating the due diligence report to ensure accuracy and relevance of the technical and financial documentation. On Doshi Dam, which has already been advertised and for which a PIP has been submitted, the ministry continues to engage with the PPP Directorate and the National Treasury to expedite the evaluation process and secure timely approvals. On Dambana Dam, following the proponent's failure to meet the mandatory deposit requirement under the PPP Act of the ministry has initiated a fresh procurement process. In the meantime, the project has been formally included in the fourth medium-term plan. Engagements are ongoing with other prospective investors who had previously expressed interest in the project. And Honorable Speaker, the exact construction timelines of these three key projects, as asked by the Honorable Senator, will depend on the conclusion of the outstanding procurement, financial, and other statutory processes. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I submit. Thank you.
Senator Mundigi, do you have any supplementary questions? If yes, you may proceed.
Thank
to
you,
answer.
Mr. Speaker. My question to the Cabinet Secretary: is it possible for Cabinet Secretary to advise or to tell people of Embu County whether there is any money in this budget of 2025 for those three dams? Because Cabinet Secretary knows water is life and life is water. And about farming in Embu County, we are trying to motivate youth and others people for farming, and better south and better north. Animals are dying, people are dying because of lack of water. And about farming, we are farming mogoka, and the farmers, they cannot progress without water.
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for that question. As I've explained, is that the three dams are in the pipeline for the public-private partnerships, and the resources we have in the current financial budget, we have a small allocation, not specifically for those three, for all dams that require review of appraisals, because to go to PPP, you need to have preliminary concept designs and to do project appraisals. So, Honorable Senator, Honorable Speaker, we have a small allocation for these kind of studies in the budget. Thank you.
Senator Kinyua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Cabinet Secretary, you remember for the World Water Celebration Day, you came to Tegethi, Matanya, and you launched a project, Tegethi Water Project. I'm just asking, how far is it now? Because when you came, you brought in pipes and other gadgets that are related to water, but immediately you left, the pipes followed you thereafter. Please, where is the status of that project? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mine is to find out the status of the construction. I know the design and of Keben Dam is to find out what is the status of the Keben Dam in Nandil sub-county, because we have waited too long, Mr. Speaker, for that project to take off, and whether there is availability of funds to construction and completion of Keben Dam in Nandil sub-county, Nandi County. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the CS was talking about concept note and also availability of funds. Honorable Speaker, the government, the Kenya Kwanza government promised 1,000 dams. And so far, I want to ask the CS, out of the 3 dams, he has gotten 0 out of 3. So that means even achieving the 1,000, it is going to be 0 out of 1,000. My question is, there is a sewer line in Marsabit, not completed up to today. I want to ask the CS, because you have already 0 out of 3. If I add Marsabit, it's going to be 0 out of 4. When are you going to complete that irrigation system in Marsabit town? And when are you going to visit Marsabit to tell the people of Marsabit when this project will be complete? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator for Kilifi County, the Honorable Majaya.
Asante, Mheshimiwa Spika. Nataka kumuuliza waziri wa maji. Ni lini lile bwawa lililoko katika eneo bunge la Ganze linaitwa Rare Dam, ni lini lile bwawa litamalizwa kujengwa, na vile vile ili bwawa hilo liweze kusaidia wananchi walioko ndani ya Ganze constituency na Kilifi kwa ujumla? Kwa sababu waziri, ni kama vile unavyoelewa kwamba nyakati fulani rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya Mheshimiwa William Ruto alikuwa maeneo bunge ya Ganze na akaenda katika ile eneo la huko Rare, mwenyewe akaliona na akaahidi ya kwamba hili bwawa la maji la Rare Dam litaweza kumalizwa ili kuweza kumaliza ukame ndani ya eneo bunge la Ganze. Ni lini mnapofikiria kwamba wewe kama waziri wa maji utaweza kufanya hiyo kazi ambayo rais mwenyewe aliweza kuahidi watu wa Ganze katika Kilifi County? Asante.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, mine is to the CS. I wanted to know the status of rehabilitation of Singore Dam, which is supposed to benefit the community and also Singore Girls High School.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At the B, the Cabinet Secretary has talked about PPPs, and I want to ask him, what's the success rate of these PPPs, and have you done any? What's the statistics? Have you done any successfully? Have you gotten any investor interested to work with your ministry to make sure that these dams succeed? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond. Before you respond, let's take just one question from Senator Kavindo. You may proceed, Honorable Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to know from the CS about Maruba Dam, where it is, and if there is any allocation this year, this financial year, to complete the work in Maruba Dam, which is very key in Machakos County, and especially Machakos Town, and Yatta Canal, Yatta Dam and Yatta Canal. What is the status? When is the completion of these 3 dams? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Honorable members, for your questions. There was a question on Tigivi water project. I am aware of that project. If the Senator can allow me, Honorable Speaker, to give you a detailed status on that, I would really appreciate, because I know the finer details is required, especially on that kind of a small project of water supply. Please. The question by Senator Cheregei on Kebendam. Senator Cheregei, Kebendam is a key project in Nandi, and we have already advertised this dam under EPCF. Evaluation is ongoing. We already have a consultant who is doing this, and this is in the progress of taking shape. EPCF projects take time, especially in evaluation and procurement. There's a question by Honorable Chochi on the 1,000 dams. And this is what I've explained, that the speed which we expected the uptake of PPPs in water, this also couples with the question from Honorable Manzo, has not taken off. However, we have done a diagnostic analysis on how to make water projects, especially high-intensive, capital-intensive infrastructure, feasible to the ministry. And this has been a challenge that we are working to resolve. Because, as I said, our cost recovery tariffs are not in place. The question on Masabit sewerage, I know that is ongoing and it has taken time, and that you're right. Allow me to give a detailed brief on the status of this. There's a question on Rare in Ganze. Ganze, I know that the challenges we have of water in Kilifi County specifically, and this also couples up with the, because we share a common water resource from Baricho that comes to Kilifi, it also goes to Mombasa. This challenge will be resolved. Apart from doing the Rare small dam, when we complete the master plan in Mombasa of Moache, so that we stop the water that comes from Baricho at Kilifi, so that it is shared in Kilifi, Malindi, and Mtwapa. So, on Rare, I can give you a detailed brief exactly on the same. There is a question on that has really come to the attention of the ministry, and this has come more often to the ministry, on Maruba Dam, which is in Machakos. Maruba Dam is one of our national urban programs that we are running as a ministry. And the infrastructure has been done. The pending problem is land composition to the people of Maruba. And I answered that question again in this house because we're in the process of NLC, the National Land Commission. Those are the people who evaluate and give us the amount to be paid. So the allocation we require here from the ministry is, from the government, is to start paying these people in piecemeal.
Senator Fokelefe, you do not rise on a point of order again as the CS. So allow the CS to conclude. I will give directives on the issue you've raised about Rare. Proceed, Honorable CS.
And to confirm to Honorable Kavitu that because we don't have the entire money to pay the people of Maruba, we plan to acquire those pieces of land in piecemeal. First of all, you start with the sections where the actual works will be going, because the remaining section will be the impoundment area that will be flooded. Maruba and Muongoni, I am well aware of Maruba and Muongoni dams. So Maruba is already in existence. I am tying the two together, Senator.
Honorable Senators, allow the CS to respond. Allow the CS to respond. Yes, respond to the questions. Honorable Senator, when I'm speaking, you yield. You're out of order, Senator Kavindu. You're totally out of order.
Honorable Speaker, the issue of Maruba and the issue of Muongoni Dam are in the same vicinity. The water supply in Machakos right now is fed by Maruba Dam. Maruba Dam is, as we speak, is complete and in use. As we speak right now, it is complete and in use. So please, Honorable Speaker, Maruba Dam, as we speak, is complete and in use. The issue of Yatta is another dam under the PPP pipeline that I've already explained to the House. The question by Honorable Kipsang, especially on Singor Dam. Singor Dam is under? Singor. It is under procurement as we speak. And also the question by Honorable Manzo on the status of PPPs and whether we have some that have taken place. We have some under irrigation, but on dams, we are not yet to secure any of them to completion. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Honorable Senators, if you look at the clock, we have long used the 15 minutes that we had allocated to this question. Now, Honorable CS, on Raredam and on the project in Marsabit, you've undertaken to provide a detailed response to these two questions.
Yes.
Do so in the next 7 days.
Thank you.
And the one that had been asked by the Senator for Tharaka Nithi, those three, file your detailed responses within the next 7 days.
Thank you.
Honorable CS, we have come to the conclusion of your session. You may leave at your pleasure.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, members.
Now, Honorable Senators, as we usher in the CS in charge of roads and transport, allow me to make this communication. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this morning of visiting teachers and students from Thanze High School in Machakos County. The delegation comprises 1 teacher and 55 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Honorable Senators, In our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will request the Senator for Machakos County under 1 minute to extend the word of welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to wish the teachers and the students from Machakos County a very welcome to the Senate, and tell you that you're in the right place. You're now watching and seeing how we deliberate the issues, and I'm sure when you put your great efforts in your studies, some of you may end up in the Senate and others in many various places. May God bless you as you have your day at the Senate today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Clerk, kindly usher in the CS in charge of roads and transport. Welcome, Honorable CS. You have 9 questions to respond to this morning, and therefore this is my guidance as far as time management is concerned. We are going to spend not more than 15 minutes per question so that we cover all the 9 questions before 1 p.m. The first question is question number 69 by the Honorable Senator from Murang'a County, Senator John Yutu. You may now proceed to ask the question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My questions to the CS is, A, why does the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, use privately owned motor vehicles for patrol on highways? B, who owns these patrol vehicles and how are their services procured? And C, what plans does KENHA have to acquire its own patrol vehicles like other state corporations? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Senate. I'm happy to be here this morning to respond to the various questions. And let me respond to the question by Senator for Tharaka-Nithi, Senator sorry, is that?
Honorable CS, you're responding to question number 69 by the Senator from Murang'a County.
My paper, the person who has got my papers has been locked outside. Sorry about that, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Joe Nyoto, a member, Senator from Murang'a County. And let me straight away go to the answer to the question on Kenya and the specific question. Why does Kenya National Highways Authority use privately owned vehicles for patrol on highways? Who owns these patrol vehicles? And what plans does Kenya have to acquire its own patrol vehicles like other state corporations? Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to respond. The Kenya National Highways Authority, Kenya, utilizes privately owned motor vehicles as it outsources road maintenance works through performance-based contracts. Under these contracts, Honorable Speaker, members, particularly on critical roads such as Thika Road and the Nairobi Southern Bypass, the scope includes regular road patrols to monitor compliance with traffic regulations, rapid response to include to incidences and breakdowns, protection of road infrastructure including street lighting and guardrails, immediate assistance on motorists in distress. The arrangements, Honorable Members, Speaker, ensures efficient maintenance while enhancing overall road safety. And on the patrol vehicles that are owned, the patrol vehicles are owned by performance-based contractors who are basically assigned the contracts on the performance-based contracts. In terms of maintenance, contractors who are competitively procured in compliance with the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015 through the open tender method. Honorable members, on the final question, the authority does not intend to procure its own patrol vehicles for maintenance work as it considers the BPC or the maintenance-based contract arrangements are more. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you.
Any supplementary questions, Honorable Newt?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I've listened and I had gone through the response by the CS. Just to seek clarity from the CS, Mr. Speaker, it's not very clear why, though Kenya outsources its road maintenance services, it's not very clear from the response why Kenya officers would use privately owned motor vehicles, because this is not a road maintenance. So, and was there any cost-benefit analysis done before this particular decision was made? Because, of course, government needs to save resources. Are we saving by using privately owned motor vehicles? Because my understanding is that there's a difference between road maintenance and patrol. The question, Honorable CS, was about the patrol vehicles. Because again, you realize that if sometimes motorists do not even know who is stopping them, because these are privately owned motor vehicles. So I think we may need to seek clarity on that. And I think that is the only question that I have. And it also touches on your response on C. Because we need to know, is the cost-benefit analysis has it shown that we are better off, we'll save state resources through privately owned motor vehicles and not motor vehicles owned by the corporation? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS.
I think to the extent, Honorable Speaker, let me offer some, to the extent of the periodic based contracts maintenance, there is clarity that yes, we tender for maintenance of a particular road for a period of a year, 2 years, and therefore the contractor who wins to maintain that road through that competitive process therefore works like any other private contractor who is constructing any road out there, and they use their assets to maintain the road. To the extent of the Kenya staff inspecting the road and using their vehicle. That is an area where we need to get clarity, because Honorable Nyoto then would have a point to the extent that, yes, we should be inspecting the roads using Kenya vehicles, and yes, we have Kenya vehicles to maintain the roads, or to inspect the roads for that matter. And therefore, I can take up that to make sure there is clarity between periodic maintenance, which is a contract given out to a private contractor to maintain the road, and when it is the aspect of inspecting the road by Kenya staff, we'll then make sure we pay attention and confirm the concern raised by Senator Nyoto that we should have enough vehicles, if that is not the case, to inspect the works in the various roads. I thank you.
Senator Manzo.
Yes, does it not have a security bearing, and Mr. CS, is it not better for you to work in conjunction with the police if you have to utilize private hired vehicles, and is it not a collusion between yourselves and the private people so that they can make money out of Kenya?
Honorable CS, you may respond.
I think what I did indicate, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, to the extent of a periodic maintenance contract, is a private contract like any contractor. You don't expect them to use Kenya vehicles. But to the extent of supervising and inspecting the works on the various roads, the Kenya staff does not in any way come in contact with the road users to the extent of really wanting to be discreet, because they would just be inspecting the works done by the periodic maintenance contractor. So if there has been a case where our staff in Kenya are not properly facilitated with their vehicles, that is a case which I said I will take it up, but it shouldn't really be a problem inspecting roads using Kenya's assets or using Kenya's vehicles, and undertake to follow up that, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Nyoto. But to the extent of clarity, the periodic maintenance contract is a private contract which is done by the contractor who wins the maintenance contract for particular roads. But the concern raised by the Speaker, by Honorable Nyoto, I'll take up to the extent that there is a claim of lack of proper facilitation and staff could be inspecting the roads using their private vehicles. I thank you.
Honorable Senators, we'll now move to question number 70 by the Senator for Kilifi and the Minority Leader, the Honorable Stewart Mazayo. Honorable Senator, you may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask my friend, the Minister for Roads, some 2-3 questions. Mr. Minister, when will the Mombasa-Mtwapa Kilifi Road project, which is a key part of Northern Transit and Transport Corridor, be completed? Number 2, are there any plans to install lighting at the Kibarani Changamwe interchange in Mombasa County to enhance security and vision for motorists at night? Finally, when does the government plan to commence the construction of a second bridge linking Mombasa Island to the North Coast mainland to ease traffic congestion?
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Senator Mazayo. Let me straight away go to the answer. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to respond as follows. The Mombasa-Mtwapa Kilifi project is divided into 2 lots. with different completion dates. The lot 1 is the Mombasa-Mtwapa, the bridge currently being constructed at Mtwapa town. And the project commenced in November 2022. Currently the progress is 42%. The project is expected to be completed by November 2026. Because Senator comes from that region and he understands the challenges we faced with that very narrow corridor between Mombasa and Mtwapa, and the challenge of land compensation coupled with the bending bills, I want to confirm that we have sorted out the bending bills issue through the funds we raised through selling our 7 shillings for securitization by a bankruptcy remote SPV, and therefore we are fully compensated, or we are fully compensating the residents, the project affected persons on that corridor. The compensation could be going on, but all the money has been released to the National Land Commission, and therefore the slowed project, including compensating the contractor for the bending bills, has been sorted out, and we should see very good progress going forward. On the second lot, Honorable Speaker, lot 2 starts from Mtwapa, that bridge in Mtwapa, all the way through Kadzengo, Kilifi, and the project commenced in December 2021. Currently the progress is 64%. The works are expected to be completed by March 2026. The project experienced a delay due to challenges with land compensation equally, and like I said, the issues of compensation is a story of yesterday. We have sorted out the bending bills issue, and National Land Commission is currently in the process of compensating the project affected persons, and we'll be able to even finish that corridor through Mtwapa town. The current contract includes the installation of street lights from Makupa roundabout to Kwa Chomvu interchange. Implementation is scheduled to commence in June 2025, which is just about now. And on the third question, the ministry through Kura is undertaking a PPP project for the second Nyali Bridge, which is still at preliminary stage. But let me hasten to basically say, with the road infrastructure works going on in the coast region, we really need to finish that Nyali Bridge so that connectivity with the works that has been done in Mombasa, in Kwale and Kilifi can basically seamlessly connect that great city of Mombasa or the coast region. I thank you.
Honorable Mazayo, if you have any supplementary questions, you may proceed to ask.
I think I'm okay. No, I think
Senator Mazayo, do you have any supplementary question to ask?
I felt I haven't organized myself.
Okay, organize yourself as I give opportunity to your colleagues. We'll come back to you. Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu za ujenzi wa barabara ya Mombasa Malindi, maeneo ya kutoka Kengeleni mpaka Mtwapa, kumekuwa na msongamano sana katika barabara hiyo. Hivyo basi magari mengi yanapita na Links Road kupitia Nyali ndio yatokee Bamburi Nyali Center yakielekea Kilifi na Malindi. Mheshimiwa Spika, barabara hii katika maeneo ya Quickmart imekuwa donda sugu kwa wakazi wa Mombasa na wakazi wa Kilifi. Kuna vidimbwi vya maji pale ambavyo kila kukinyesha inakuwa ni vigumu magari kuweza kupita. Hivyo basi tutapata mara nyingine msongamano katika Links Road mpaka maeneo ya Shell petrol station. Mheshimiwa Spika, hili tatizo litaondoka lini? Kwa sababu tumeona kura wanakuja na mikutano, mara leo wanafanya ushiriki wa umma, public participation, kesho wanakuja wanalaumu kaunti ya Mombasa, kesho kutwa wanasema ni wawekezaji ambao wamejenga kando ya barabara ambao wanasababisha msongamano ule na maji kutokwenda. Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo la pili, hizi taa katika barabara ya Causeway ni aibu kwa Mombasa, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu mtalii akishuka katika uwanja wa kimataifa wa Moi kuna mataa pale, lakini akianza kuingia mjini, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni giza tupu. Wale wakatalii wa mara ya kwanza ambao wanaingia Mombasa, Mheshimiwa Spika, wakiingia pale wanajiuliza, je, twenda kwenye mji ama twenda kwenye msitu? Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Manzo.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, the CS has talked about PPPs in relation to construction of the bridges. What are your statistical successes and the foreigner partners or whoever private partners willing to partner with you? What are the success statistics you have of successful PPPs in your ministry, especially in relation to the bridges?
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Let me beg to answer Senator Faki's question in English. Ndio nisichanganye sana. The congestion that is currently experienced around Quickmart, around Bamburi area, Senator Faki, on that road was exacerbated by the fact that we were unable to call the shots on the contractors because we owed them so much money. We have now paid them and we are calling the shots. I have visited the road severally, including when the President went to inspect that road, to the extent that just around Bamburi Nature Trail there, the corridor has been very congested, and to the extent that the slip roads could not even be done because we needed to compensate for the corridor to move the wall out after compensating the project affected for Eastmen, project affected persons by Eastmen. Having compensated the contractors, you will not see that going forward. We've had meetings with the contractors. I've just come from a meeting this morning, and we will easen the traffic. We will accelerate the construction and finish that road very quickly. There is no reason why the Mtwapa to the lower part towards Kilifi is basically complete, except for the Mtwapa Bridge and the corridor around there, the small section that has not been tarmacked. There is no reason why Mombasa to Mtwapa is not catching up, and I want to promise that we will accelerate and catch up, address the issues of congestion, having money to compensate for the land or project affected person. We will now be able to open the corridor and have the slip roads to function so there is no congestion. Because we were constructing on a corridor with no additional space because we had not paid the project affected persons. But with the money now being available, I want to assure this House that that will be a problem of the past, and you'll see us calling more shots to make sure the contractors do what is right. Now that we have paid what is due to them, and we expect them to basically be facilitative so that those traffic congestions we have witnessed are eradicated, but also bring the project completion much sooner than was expected with the delays due to non-payment because of pending bills. On the Causeway, I was in a meeting not very long ago between the contractor Victoria Construction Company, who is on that section, with the governor from Mombasa, Abdul Swamad, and we need, the lights were pulled down when the construction started. And with the construction being completed now, with that bridge at Kwachomvu, which will finish in the next maybe 1 month, 2 months, let me promise 2 months. The bridge which was hanging there around Synergy, because we were also unable to compensate Synergy to give us space to finish the bridge. So the bridge was built going up, and the dropping side had been hanging there for 5 years. That bridge is being built and it's being now completed, and the lights are in a progression of being restored with the completion of that road, so that when the clients arrive at Mombasa Airport, we don't have them getting into that darkness that has been experienced over the long delayed construction. For the question raised by Senator Manzo and the success of PPP projects on bridges, there will be PPP programs that can work in areas where there's significant traffic. And when you talk about Nyali Bridge, it is, if you know, success of PPP with respect to investors, the drivers are the traffic. If you, for a road where there's so much traffic, it becomes very easy to get a project which is bankable. But if it is a bridge where there is no traffic, you possibly get 20 vehicles per day. Even if you are charging 10, 15 shillings to cross through that bridge, it will not repay for the investment to give return on the equity or the investors as a business for the next 30, 40, 50 years. But you do know the bridge we are talking about, it's a very high traffic area, and so we are looking at possibility. We succeed on PPP or we don't, we need to open up this bridge through PPP or through GOK funding.
Nyali kuelekea mpaka kwa Kajengo Mtwapa, ni hatua gani hayaharibiki? Kwa sababu ile barabara ni mbovu sana. Unachukua kutoka Nyali pale Kenya Revenue College mpaka kwa Kajengo, hususan ukifika pale kwa bridge ya Shibondetewa. Ile bridge hivi sasa ni kama kuna hatari kubwa inaweza kutokea. Zuri na imeharibika zaidi. Sisi tumesafiri nchi za ng'ambo, hata tukiwa na wewe wakati wetu ule wa side road, ile barabara ya kando ambayo inasaidia ile barabara ambayo inajengwa. Hawa wanatutegezea hizi barabara. Je, wizara yako inachukua hatua gani hivi sasa kuona ya kwamba zile barabara zinatengezwa kando ya barabara ile ambayo inatengezwa pande hapa kuenda pande za Mombasa ama kutoka Mombasa kuenda pande za Kilifi? Ni hatua gani wizara yako imechukua kueleza hawa watu wanaotengeza zile barabara kwamba kunahitajika kutengeza barabara za kando kama vile wanavyotengeza kule China ama kule
Speaker, kwamba the Mtwapa Bridge, which I touched on, which is in the second portion of this particular corridor, is ongoing. It's a very long bridge of about 150 meters. The current bridge is a bit compromised. Ukiona kwa umbali unaona imeregea, there's a problem. I know what the senator is talking about. I've been there a few times. And like I said, Honorable Speaker, members, we have compensated the contractor on that road for bending bills. We have compensated the land affected persons, the project affected person within Mtwapa town, so that we are now able to connect the second section which is complete to the Mombasa side over the bit of compromise bridge. But I am confirming, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, that we are accelerating the completion of this bridge. Now that we've got financing on this particular road, we've paid for project affected persons on that corridor about 2 billion, which is currently in progress. We've released the full funding to the National Land Commission, and compensation is going on as we speak. Shida ni kwamba when a project takes too long, you try to compensate, you find that the people who were initially in the list, there is succession issues and so on and so forth. But the full funding as we speak now is with National Land Commission, and the contractor knows that that challenge has been basically removed. Like I said, we have also compensated the contractor to work to the extent of 40%. The challenge, so to the extent of really accelerating the project, we want to quickly finish that particular corridor and ensure that road is motorable and the vehicles are not getting spoiled in that difficult section that Mheshimiwa Manso talked about. With respect to the service roads, sometimes as a developing economy, it becomes very difficult to buy land from land users, possibly demolish houses which have been built very close to the road to build a service road. So it's a case of really economics. Do we compensate to build temporary roads while we are building the roads? Where there is a corridor, yes. Where there is no corridor, it becomes a bit of a challenge. But allow me, for the programs running in Mombasa with the expedited payments or the eastern payments, to accelerate the connector between the Mombasa side and the Kilifi side through this Mtwapa bridge very quickly, and ensure that we do remove that challenge in a very short time. Because the challenge for a long time was the bending bills and the very slow work that was whatever. With respect to slip roads, which have also been designed, and I will seek to have possibly a more closer meeting with the senator to show him the design. There are slip roads around through Mtwapa town. What we have done now is just to compensate for the inner corridor to move waugasaji, the wafanyabiashara wadogo, so that we can build the main corridor. But there are slip roads, and because we now have money, we are compensating, and we'll have slip roads through the town. The challenge was, because we were not able to compensate them, you would not actually know that they are slip roads. But when you see the designs, we've designed with slip roads, rather service roads along the main corridor. So we've compensated earlier on through exchequer release some 73 million shillings to get access to build the main corridor. The slip roads, we've now gotten money and we are compensating to do the service roads, which are parallel to the main road. And you will see that, and I can spend some time with Senator Manzo to show him the design, the fact that we have compensated for the main artery, and we are now compensating for the service roads through the town. I thank you.
Senator Faki, you certainly cannot raise on a point of order again on this, yes. What is your intervention?
My first part of the question was not answered. The problem is on the Links Road, where we have a pool of water next to the Quick Mart supermarket, directly on the road. And even if you go there right now, you will see that pool is still subsisting. And I remember during the month of May, if I'm not mistaken, there was a public participation done by Kura, where they started a blame game between them and the county government of Mombasa. A lady has lost her eyesight on that road because she was traveling in a tuk-tuk, and as a result of hitting a pothole, something hit her eye, and now she's partly blind. So it's a serious problem, Bwana CS. I know you said you have been there, but motorists, those who are going to Kilifi, those who are coming to Mombasa, have that problem every day. Every day we encounter that problem. Even those who are now residing in Nyali are thinking of relocating, because every day in the morning there's a traffic jam, in the evening up to sometimes 9 p.m. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I now understand where Senator Faki, I thought you were talking about the Mtwapa Kilifi Road. This is the Nyali bypass to Mtwapa Kilifi Road or Mombasa Road. And I know the exact location, and in my last visit to Mombasa, this was #1 agenda with the governor, where on either side of this particular road, where there's a kind of depression, there are developments on both sides. There's a hospital on one side, they've built a wall, and there's no way to drain the water on this very low section. And we need to really tunnel out the water in this particular depression. And it requires some serious design. I've discussed this with the governor. We are discussing with the land users how to get access to be able to get drainage out of that very low section. And then, yes, I'm aware it's a Kura project. I was talking about the Kena on the main highway. And let me undertake to follow up what Kura has done on this particular one. But it was more of the city plan to basically allow for development without drainage pathways. And therefore, it's one thing that if you are to think about a quick solution, you'll need to be pumping out water because you need to push water up and then look for a channel out. But we need an access to be able to develop a drainage from that low section. And then therefore, yes, I'm aware of that. We've discussed with the governor, and I'll pick it up with Kura to see how far we are, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Faki. Asante.
We now move to question number 85 by the Senator for Kilifi. You may proceed to ask the question. Senator Mazayo, question number 85 is yours.
Yes, that's right.
Do you want us to defy it?
No.
Then proceed to ask.
Bwana Waziri, na imani ya kwamba unaelewa vile nitakavyokuuliza maswali haya, hususan ni kwamba yanahusu Kilifi County. Je, Bwana Waziri, kwa barabara na uchukuzi, unaweza kueleza ni hali ya hisia ya upanuzi wa uwanja wa ndege wa kimataifa wa Malindi? Vile vile, Waziri wa barabara na uchukuzi, nataka kuuliza, unaweza kufafanua jumla ya ekari ya ardhi iliyotengwa kwa ajili ya mradi huu wa upanuzi, na pia kueleza idadi ya wamiliki wa ardhi watakaoathirika. Vile vile, Waziri, nataka kuuliza, je, serikali imeweka mikakati ipi kuhakikisha kwamba wamiliki wa ardhi watakaoathirika na upanuzi huu wanalipwa fidia kwa haki? Na je, unaweza kutupea twakimya idadi ya wamiliki wa ardhi waliokwisha lipwa fidia hadi sasa pamoja na kiasi walicholipwa. Mwisho, Bwana Waziri, je, serikali imechukua hatua gani kuhakikisha mchakato wa ulipaji wa fidia? Na wewe kama waziri wa barabara na uchukuzi unaweza kutoa ratiba ya malipo kamili ya fidia zote ambazo bado hazijalipwa mpaka hivi sasa?
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Senator Madzayo. Again, because the question was filed in English, I responded in English, and I hope we have the printed response with honorable members. Honorable Speaker, I'm pleased to appraise this House on information sought regarding the status of compensation framework for the planned expansion of Malindi International Airport, communicated through our letter reference Senate 4S/4-Q/2025-051 dated 11 June 2025. The status and compensation framework for the planned expansion of Malindi International Airport, Honorable Speaker, was declared, or rather Malindi International Airport was declared an aerodrome via a Gazette Notice number 1161 of 8th March 1961, commonly referred to as Aerodromes Control of Obstruction Ordinance Annex 1. The Gazette Notice described Malindi Aerodrome as an unsurveyed area measuring approximately 231 acres. Honorable Speaker, in speaker to secure the airport land, the government of Kenya, a grant number CR 30280 Annex 3, granted the authority a 99-year lease with effect from 1st February 1997 through the Government Land Act Cap 280. The land measures approximately 100.6 hectares as delineated on the survey plan number 211701 of 2nd May 1997, which we have annexed as 4 to the authority. This conferred a land reference number of 10688 to Malindi International Airport. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the proposal of the master plan for Malindi Airport, Annex 2, and undertaken by an airport consultant, Sofrifia, the authority in 2017 initiated land acquisition process, phase 1 for expansion of the airport through the National Land Commission, through a Gazette Notice 3390/2017 of 2017. The acquisition process was undertaken to completion. Valuation done by National Land Commission and the project affected persons issued with awards in respect of improvements on the land and disturbance allowance to fully compensate them for that purpose. The project affected persons were compensated excluding the value of the land. The compensation amount was assessed at Kenya shillings 424,205,901 with a total of 155 project affected persons. Honorable Speaker, some of the PUPs filed an adverse possession suits before the Environment and Land Court claiming to be declared the rightful owners of the affected parcel. The cases were, however, dismissed. The PUPs and other claimants then moved to the Land Acquisition Tribunal through various appeals. Honorable Speaker, on 8th February 2024, the Tribunal issued a consent order directing the National Land Commission intention to acquire, conduct joint inspection to determine land ownership and issue awards to the project affected person. Pursuant to this court order, honorable members, the Commission regazetted intention to compulsorily acquire land for expansion of Malindi International Airport and inquiries into the claim through Gazette Notice Corrigenda number 2584 of 13 February 2025. Honorable Speaker, the inquiries into the claims were conducted over a period of 3 days between 25th March 2025 and 27th March 2025 at the DCC's office in Malindi. A total of 15 land parcels with a combined acreage of 19.8936 hectares were listed in the Gazette Notice. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the inquiries by the National Land Commission, other issues were raised by the claimant on adverse possession occupant in good faith and historical land injustices. These matters are currently under review by the National Land Commission. Honorable Speaker, the authority is further undertaking design and land requirement assessment for Malindi Phase 2 expansion project to allow a runway expansion from 1.4 kilometers to 2.4 kilometers. This followed the setting aside of injunction imposed on Phase 2 acquisition project FIDE via a ruling delivered by the tribunal on 10th February 2025. The land acquisition process and resettlement action for Phase 2 will be subject to budget availability, and as I end, I want to confirm that I have lately, in the last 2 months, visited this airport to address some of these challenges, met the leadership of Malindi who are on the ground, and we are paying attention to this airport because, albeit the challenges we have faced in the expansion of Malindi Airport, to the extent of suggestions as to whether we could go to Vipingo or EPZ or SEZ, the tourism industry in this area and the need to sustain the investments which are wasting away in the hotel industry because of a lack of a good airport to be able to bring in big planes through expansion, so bring in big equipment with the tourists that favor this destination, is something that the government is paying a lot of attention. And I want to confirm that this is a top priority amongst the airports that we are paying attention to be able to grow our economy, bring in more tourists into this economy, and support that hotel industry that is invested by majorly the nationals of Italy. I've met the ambassador lately in my office, and we are looking for quick ways of correcting and expanding this airport to this 2.4 kilometers. I thank you, Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Mazayo, do you have any supplementary questions?
Bwana Waziri, nilikuwa nataka kuuliza kwamba uwanja huu wa ndege wa Malindi ni uwanja wa zamani sana. Hata ulikuwa zamani kabla hata Kisumu Airport haijatengenezwa. Lakini kitu cha kushangaza ni kwamba mpaka hivi sasa ukisikia inaitwa Malindi International Airport, hata wewe mwenyewe unajua, ukija kule kama kwa holiday ama weekend, unapata ya kwamba kiwanja kile hakiko katika status ya Malindi International. Na haya yote yameletwa na kwamba wizara yako imesusia ama imekataa ama haifanyi juhudi zozote kuona ya kwamba wale wawekezaji, kuna wawekezaji kama kina Flavio Biatore ambao walikuwa wako tayari kupanua hicho kiwanja katika mipango ama mikadirio ya wewe ya wizara yako na wale walioko tayari kutoka Italy kupanua kile kiwanja. Nataka kujua ni kwa sababu gani wizara yako kufikia hivi sasa imeweza kukataa hawa wawekezaji kupanua hichi kiwanja. Na vile vile nataka kukueleza ya kwamba hata ikiwa ni wakati wowote kuanzia hivi sasa kunahitajika kupanuliwa kiwanja cha Malindi. Wako wawekezaji ambao wamejitolea tayari, ambao wako tayari kutengeza hichi kiwanja. Mmoja wao nikiwa ni yule ambaye nimekueleza hivi sasa, ambaye wako tayari kutengeza hicho kiwanja, kukifanya kiwe kiwanja cha kimataifa. Je, unaweza kueleza kwamba hawa wawekezaji wameweza kufanya mikakati ama ushirikiano gani na serikali ama na wizara yako ili kuona kwamba kiwanja hichi kimeweza kupanuliwa kikawa kama status ya wale watu wengine kama Moi International ama Kisumu International, tupate ikiitwa Malindi International, inaitwa Malindi International kikadirifu ama vile inavyotakana kuitwa. Asante Bwana Waziri.
Honorable CS.
I think I'd, in my supplementary answer, I touched on the supplementary question being asked by Honorable Matsayo, and I confirm and agree that what Mheshimiwa Matsayo is true. This is a critical, important airport for the kind of tourist destination we're talking about of Malindi in Kilifi County. And therefore, it's of uttermost importance for the government to address the concern Senator Matsayo has raised. The challenge in Malindi is not the infrastructure development. It has been more on the getting the runway expansion. On the front side of the Malindi is a very high population that has been very expensive to resettle, but that we must resettle if we are going to expand this airport, and we are going to do that. The other challenge is a road on the other side where the airport would cut through the road, the Mombasa-Malindi road. And so we're paying a lot of attention. We rely on tourists as a major GDP contributor into our economy.
I think, Honorable CS, the question was, there are investors, private investors, who are willing to put their money in the expansion of Malindi Airport. But your ministry seems not to be in sync with these investors. What is the problem? That's what the Honorable Senator has just asked.
And the straight answer, which maybe I'm not coming out very clear, is the project affected persons. What investors will not do is to do land compensation. And we do not wish to basically concession the 1.4 kilometers. We want to expand to 2.4 kilometers. Thank you, and sorry about that. Honorable Speaker, the straight answer is that we will embrace investors to come in, but the biggest challenge is the land compensation, because like I said, to be able to bring big planes into Malindi, some of the charters, we need to extend the runway to 2.4 kilometers. And that is the primary challenge. If we were to concession the airport and give away to an investor to rebuild Malindi Airport at the current 1.4 kilometers, we will not have corrected the challenge. We need to expand the runway to be able to land the big planes. So the priority which is top on my desk is to do the land compensation, and I think we've done significantly. We are doing significantly well. Like I said, I just visited that airport not very long ago, I think in the last 3 months, and I met the leadership on the ground, and the aim of the visit was to address the question of expansion of the runway, so that putting up a modern building is not a big challenge. Recarpeting that second runway in state of disrepair is not a big challenge, but we need to get it to 2.4 kilometers. And therefore the big challenge to bringing investors is more of the land acquisition and paying the project affected persons so that we can expand and bring the big planes, which today would land in Mombasa and transport the tourists by road. So allow me, honorable members, to basically refocus the land compensation, the acquisition, and therefore the expansion of the runway. I thank you.
We shall now move to question number 3. We have spent 22 minutes on this question, and we had allocated only 15 minutes. We have 6 more questions to go. Proceed, Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker,
Proceed, Senator Sifuna, so that we make use of the limited time.
I think, Honorable Chair.
Let's proceed. Proceed, Senator Sifuna. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Senator Fernande, please take your seat. You're scheduled. I'll call you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think members have forgotten that there was an advisory that priority will be given to the senators who asked questions, and then we'll hand over the CS for supplementary questions. If I'm not wrong, Honorable Speaker. My question is number 93. Honorable Speaker, I want the CS to address 3 questions. Actually, there are 4, and these questions originated from a meeting with the Karen Langata Residents Association. Honorable Speaker, can the CS tell this House what is the current progress of works on the Riruta-Ngong railway line project, whose construction was commissioned in 2023? Secondly, could the Cabinet Secretary provide comprehensive details on the rationale for initiating the project, including the source of funding, the design framework, feasibility studies conducted, environmental impact assessment, and the economic justification supporting its implementation? Thirdly, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a financial and cost-benefit comparison between the proposed Riruta-Ngong railway line and the alternative option of dualling the Bomas Rongai to Kiserian section of Magadi Road and the Ngong Karen section of Ngong Road? And finally, Honorable Speaker, what is the current status of compulsory land acquisition by government for the Riruta-Ngong railway line project, and how will the associated land acquisition cost affect the overall project budget and implementation timelines? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You may proceed, Honorable CS.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to respond. The transport sector is recognized as a key pillar and a critical enabler in achieving Vision 2030 long-term development strategy and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Development of efficient transport system, honorable members, in rural and urban areas is therefore key factor in supporting the country's development strategies. I wish to indicate that for this particular project, the source of funding for the project is purely the government of Kenya. The government, through the Kenya Railways Corporation, conducted a feasibility study that resulted in the development of Nairobi Commuter Master Plan 2019. The master plan identified key commuter line corridors for development and modernization within Nairobi metropolitan area. The key identified corridors forming the core network are Kikuyu Limuru, which is currently existing under the meter gauge railway, Riruta Thika, which also exists today with a meter gauge railway, Lukenya, Kitengela, Konza, also existing, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, which is proposed, Embakasi Village, which is existing, and Riruta Ngong under implementation from Riruta to Ngong. Riruta Ngong commuter line, which will be linked to the revitalized Nairobi railway station, is also one of the commuter lines identified as critical transport infrastructure under the prioritized integrated transport system for decongestion of Nairobi metropolitan area. The rationale, honorable members, behind preference of the commuter rail over land transport is that commuter rail is for mass transport, and therefore the carbon footprint is what we all desire today. And where one commuter train carries about 6,600 passengers, both standing and sitting, which is equivalent, honorable members, to about 460 14-seater matatus. And that is one way of decongesting our city. I have just indicated where you can get that master plan, and in today's time of technology, if you go to that site, you'll be able to see the master plan. I wish to indicate, honorable members, that for this particular project, the source of funding, like I've said, is purely the government of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards environmental social impact assessment study, the same was conducted in line with the Environmental Management and Coordination Act 1999. Attached herewith is Annex 2 is a copy of NEMA's license number NEMA/EAI/PSL/35081. I also wish to add that the project is being implemented under the engineering procurement construction basis with an independent consultancy for design review and construction supervision in place. On the second question, Honorable Speaker, members, in order to enhance the economy of the country, mobility of the citizenry is key, and the transport sector acts as a key enabler for economic growth. The land is a finite resource, therefore the aim of the ministry is to ensure both railway and road transport modes complement one another instead of competing or compete with one another. Given the finite nature of the land, the ministry aims to promote use of mass rapid transport, normally MRT in Nairobi metropolitan area. The two modes being pursued are commuter rail transport and the BRT transport. And I can talk more about that because we just came back from the UK where we are looking at the UK fund to do the Nairobi Railway City, and we are specifically focusing on these corridors to be able to move people quickly out of the city and into the city and be able to decongest. Construction cost is Kenya shillings 8.1 billion. For construction cost, we have about 8.2 billion, 8.26 billion. Land acquisition will cost us 2.8 billion. We are acquiring land in very expensive areas through that current corridor. Land acquisition cost, including protection, relocation, and existing utilities, as I've indicated there, will be significantly expensive. On the next question, on what is the status of the compulsory land acquisition, Honorable Speaker, Chair, the total length of Riruta Ngong commuter line is approximately 13 kilometers. The ownership of the section traversed by the proposed railway line, we have given a schedule attached, and the length of the railway track ownership of the land and so on and so forth, I've captured there 2.4 kilometers with Kenya Railways as available corridor. We don't have to, we already have that. 0.55 kilometers is with Kenya Forestry Service, and we need to acquire wayleaf. 0.3 kilometers is with the Kenya National Highway overpass across the Southern Bypass. 4.55 kilometers is with Kenya Urban Roads that we need to be able to share jointly. 1 kilometer is with Kenya Broadcasting Station, and which we need to acquire. 0.9 kilometers is with the National Academy, National Police Academy, and which we need to then acquire. Fortunately, that is intergovernment. 2.1 is with the Vet Farm Department, and 1.35 kilometers is private acquisition or land acquisition process, which is ongoing by the National Land Commission. And that some gazettement has been done, Gazette number 7418, the Kenya Gazette volume CXX V11 number 119 dated 5th June 2025 for inquiry. You can see, Honorable Sifuna, that is fairly current and some work is being done. Let me just hasten to add that with the Nairobi Railway City having been pronounced by the leadership as a priority project to be able to recalibrate and give new life to that piece of 438 acres of land sitting with the Kenya Railways. We do not only wish to build the new railway terminus, we will update or upgrade the platforms for all these lines to come in and out of the city. We will build a public realm for the people arriving at a capacity of 30,000 persons per hour. And to a very good extent, therefore, if we did the Nairobi Railway City alone without doing all the lines that I've talked about into Kikuyu, Ruiru Thika, Lukenya, Jomo Kenyatta, and Bakasi Village, to be able to bring in people in and out quickly, it will not be. So we do not wish to do a stranded investment in upgrading the Nairobi Railway City without doing the supporting BRT and the commuter rail. And therefore, we are taking all this as a package. And therefore, the project that we are talking about through the router, which already has a contractor on the ground, I think CRBC, is one project which is already taken off. And we are going to pay attention to make sure that we decongest the city, we move people out of the city for residents out there, and be able to expand the economy, as it were, by moving people in and out very quickly. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, CS. Senator Sifuna, do you have a supplementary question? Do you want
Yes,
to ask
fact,
both of them now?
Yes, in fact, Honorable Speaker, I do have.
Yes.
The Cabinet Secretary has given me a 2019 report, but I was meant to believe that there was another report funded by the World Bank in 2017, a consultant funded by the World Bank that actually ranked this Gongri Ruta line as the least priority in terms of construction of railways in this city. Honorable Speaker, I have a few issues. You know, I have publicly said that this is one of the few CSs, if not the only CS that I have respect for, because he takes his work seriously. But I can see here in his response, he has made an allegation here that one commuter train is supposed to carry 6,600 passengers, and that is an advantage over road construction. Honorable Speaker, in this same report of his, at paragraph 39, your report, Honorable CS, talks of 1,200 passengers per train. I don't know where you got your number of 6,600 passengers. And wouldn't you agree with me, Honorable Speaker, that it is not just about passengers? So the CS is telling us that 6,600 passengers is equivalent to 460 14-seater matatus. But you and me know, 14-seater matatus, 460 of them, employing 2 people each. There are other benefits of having these matatus on the road. It is not just about, the numbers that you're able to transport in one vehicle. But let's go to the answer on the comparison of the cost construction of the road vis-a-vis the rail. Honorable Speaker, there's a schedule that he has given here. So apparently the government prefers spending a total of 9.5 billion Kenya shillings to do 13 kilometers of railway from Ngong to Riruta, as opposed to dualing Bomas to Kiserian, which is a total distance of almost 24 kilometers at a cost of 10.9 billion. Waziri, explain to me as if I was a child. Honestly, if you wanted to decongest Nairobi, you want to open up the city, reduce the pressure on land. We know we have more land in Kiserian than we have here in Nairobi. What is the rationale of spending 9.5 billion to do 13 kilometers of railway, and yet you could use 10.9 to do 24 kilometers of road, dual carriageway from Bomas to Kiserian? So if you can answer those two questions, Honorable Speaker, and also touch on accusations, allegations that some powerful people along that route for that railway have somehow secured concessions from your ministry to divert the original plan to avoid their properties. But those who are not powerful enough, Honorable Speaker, they are not being heard at all by the ministry. I thank you.
CS, could you respond to those questions?
Let me first of all thank Senator Sifuna for the compliments, which I don't take for granted, and I'm going to even work harder. But let me get down to the optimal. You know, when you're dealing with a commuter rail, you can optimize because it's just the number of attachments which can be pulled by the engine. And therefore, you can start from as low as 1,200 and go to as high as, depending on the capacity. What you don't do is, depending on whether it's a rush hour, you don't just do the attachments if the population is not there, but you can go to as far as 6,000, depending on the capacity of the engine to pull that weight. The point really, and let me straight say, we will build Bomas Keserian because that's a new settlement as a priority. But we can get to the details on the, Keserian is really where the people who work in this city live. It's a new settlement. It's an open area. And if we are going to decongest the city in terms of new developments, we see serious development in that area. And we'll be impervious as leaders not to set priority dualing to that very congested narrow road to Keserian. So I want to confirm that there are works in progress, dualing to be able to decongest people trying to reside in the very small spaces around the city of Bomas Keserian is a must-do and an urgent project that we must undertake. And because it's a supplementary, I don't have the details, but I can tell you this is a priority road for dualing. But equally, leaders, when you then see the optimized pull from the commuter rail to the road, Matatu, and the congestion that we have, including the BRT, to be able to do the intercity with the understanding that because our city was not planned with a railway or commuter railway, it is very easy for us to have the commuter planned along the Nairobi Railway City. It is very easy to basically go out of the city through Nairobi commuter metropolitan system, which brings in a number of counties in Nairobi who basically, where our population reside, in Ngong, in Keserian, in Kikuyu, Kiambu, all the way down to Murang'a. And then these governors do sit in the Nairobi Metropolitan Transport Authority decision-making process. And therefore, let me just confirm, honorable members, Honorable Sifuna, that Bomas Keserian is a must-do, and I can come with specific timelines because it's a critical corridor to decongest the city. Equally, even as we thought maybe this line is a least priority, in the latest developments, we really must build a number of lines going eastward, northerly, southwest, and so on and so forth, to basically bring people in and out of the city, either through BRT, through the Nairobi commuter rail system, and facilitate, really remove the congestion that currently is choking the city. So whereas it might be expensive to develop the commuter rail, if you see the capacity we are able to pull, depending on the number of attachment of the units to transport up to 6,600 people, if we do the economics, you'll appreciate why we need both. The buses will stop every so often. The train stations will be further apart and so on and so forth. So, honorable members, because of the passion of Sifuna to understand what we are doing in Nairobi, and because of the recent development, including the visit to the UK to see the King's Cross development of what the city can look like when you develop a dilapidated facility like the railway housing the railway land, which sits on about 438 acres. I would like to spend time with Sifuna so that as a senator of Nairobi, he can appreciate what we are doing to basically decongest the city, give a new life through development of those 438 acres sitting under the Nairobi, the Kenya Railway, and be able to move people in and out of the city very quickly. And we are doing this as a package. We do not just want to do the railway city. We want to do the BRT lines, including the line that starts from Kenol and which has been stranded for a while, coming through Ruiru all the way to the Nairobi Railway station, and the line going to Kikuyu, the line going to Ruruta. There are life plans, including my planned visit to the UK next week. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable CS. I think we have exhausted the time that was allocated by Speaker. I will allow just one question because the time for that question has been exhausted. Otherwise, it will be difficult to complete the questions that we have with the CS today. So I'll give Senator Okongo Mugeni to ask one question, and then we will call it a day on those questions. You still find another chance maybe with the next question that he answers. He's still on his feet.
Yes, before I ask my question, I was just wondering the procedure that the ministry follows, because I was looking at the documentation. This road he was speaking about was commissioned in 2023, okay? But the environmental impact assessment license was issued on 19th September 2024. Does it mean that the ministry does not follow the laid down compliance procedures before the commission projects? Because they should lead from the front, Honorable Madam Speaker. But the question I wanted to ask, which is current from the minister, is on road safety. CS, that
Senator Omugeni, which question do you want him to answer?
That's the one I'm asking. That was just an observation.
Okay.
Last week, Waziri, we had a bad accident, and I think we neighbor each other. I'm Nyamira, you are in Bomet. In Nyansiongo, we had a very bad accident where a truck that was traveling from Keroka, Metamayua, down to Nyansiongo lost control and crashed into Nyansiongo market, and 8 people died on the spot. If you have data, that is coming up after another accident happened again last year in October, where we again lost 4 lives, Waziri. In that stretch, you know, coming downhill, it's a hill. From Sotik, Chebilate down to Nyansiongo, you also go downhill. And on both sides, Waziri, you have not placed bumps to slow traffic. Before September, in April, another child at Gesebe Primary School had been knocked down by a vehicle. Again, we raised these complaints. I raised the same issue before your predecessor, Murkomen, but nothing has been done so far. How long does it take, Waziri, to just place bumps on the roads for purposes of ensuring that there is safety on the road users, the people who are using markets, etc.? Can we get any assurance from you that you will take note of these concerns and move with urgency and place bumps on that stretch of the road? And also whether there is a possibility of putting a climbing lane on that spot, because we don't want to keep on losing lives. We are also part of Kenya, people from Nyamira. Waziri.
Well, thank you, Senator Okongo Mugeni. Before I invite the CS, I will only allow that question based on the fact that it has serious fatalities because of the accidents. Otherwise, I want to remind the senators that the questions must be connected to the principal question that the CS is responding to, so that he's able to effectively answer. So I'll ask the CS to respond to the same.
Thank you, Senator Okongo Mgeni, on those two questions. One clarification on the procedure on how we could be building a road without an environmental certificate because of those two dates. But like the speaker assisted me to answer that question, allow me to check exactly what happened and how we could actually start construction ahead of getting a certificate, which is a prerequisite in the order of, because really it's a requirement that an environmental study has been done. NEMA has issued certification. If it was being funded, the funding will not be so allow me to basically check on whether
Senator Okongo, you're out of order. Let him respond and I'll give a direction. Yeah. You cannot introduce a question above another senator's question. That would be out of order.
Thank you, Speaker. In fact, the reason why I'm asking, let me check and confirm, I'm not saying that did not happen. But you do know, sometimes when you apply for a license, you are given a provisional license to start works and do subsequent environmental certification. So I really need to bring the sequencing of the initial approval and whether this was a secondary basically requirement to submit the environmental reports and therefore get subsequent certification for compliance. But allow me to do that, and that's what I was requesting. I'm not disputing, but I'm saying let me get into the details because this, and therefore I would wish to basically delve into that because it will not happen that we are working on a project where there's been no environmental study and approval to do a project.
Honorable CS, you'll have 7 days to check the documentation and supply any documents to show the sequencing of those certifications or licenses.
Thank you, Speaker, and we'll endeavor to comply. With respect to the road safety, and which is really carnage ravaging our Kenyans, I want to empathize with the Nyasiongo market accident and the loss of lives, 8 lives there, and promise the Senator that I will immediately hereafter address the concern of the bumps. But we cannot be reacting all the time when there's an accident and then we go when we've lost lives. And there are various initiatives, including the ITS. There is so much in electronic, given the day and age in technology that we can employ to manage the drivers, to manage the vehicles on the road. We're doing a digital driving license with certain features to be able to do instant fines and manage the drivers. We are doing the junction cameras through the ITS systems. We are doing there's so much that we can do to be able to address that. But for this particular case for Nyasiongo, let me address that. And for most of the black spots, yes, we need climbing lanes so that sometimes with speed and the narrow sections on some of those black spots, the vehicle, when they kind of don't stay on the road because of the weight and so on and so forth, and because of the narrow nature of the road, the vehicle goes out of the road and sometimes it gets into a market or gets into where people are trading, causing untold suffering and deaths. And therefore, for this particular case, I will pay attention to, but I wish to hasten that we are doing a lot and I will be paying attention to what we need to do with NTSA, a whole authority just set to address the safety on our roads. We need to do more, and I do agree. But for Nyasiongo market, the bumps and whether we need to do that climbing lane that Mheshimiwa talked about, let me pay attention to that. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Senators, we will move to the next question. Question number 77, Senator Agnes Kavindo. What guidance do you need, Senator? And Senator Chiradike, when you need guidance, you first wait for the Speaker to give you permission to address the Chair. You cannot take over from Agnes before you're allowed by the Speaker. Senator Agnes, resume your seat. Let me hear the guidance Senator Chiradike needs. Please give him the mic.
Madam Speaker, I understood when Senator Sifuna was given indulgence to go ahead of me in the sequencing of the order paper, unless order paper does not guide the House, because in the sequencing of the order paper, I was immediately after Senator Stewart Madzayo. The Speaker requested the indulgence of Senator Sifuna. Then it should have come back to me, because as per the sequencing of the order paper, I thought we are following order paper, Madam Speaker.
Okay, let me...
Can I be allowed, because I have other engagements, Madam Speaker?
Resume your seat. I respond to that. Senator Agnes Kavindu has approached the Speaker. She's indisposed. She needs to seek medical treatment, so I've used the discretion of the Speaker to let her question be answered, and then your question will be next. We'll go back to sequencing. Your seat. Senator Chiradike, I have given the direction. Resume your seat. Resume your seat. No. I've already exercised the discretion and given you explanation on that discretion. I have told you I reordered. From now, this point is when you are indisposed. Resume your seat. So resume your seat. You are out of order, and I wish to caution you. Senator Chiradike, I wish to caution you now, you are out of order. Resume your seat. That is the first caution. After the second caution, I will rule you as out of order. Resume your seat. Agnes, Senator Agnes, can you proceed? Resume your seat. Thank you. Senator Halwale, allow Senator Agnes to proceed. I will listen to point of procedure after Senator Agnes has. I have given you the direction, Senator Halwale. Proceed, Senator Agnes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like the CS to... I want to ask the CS my question. A, what are the reasons for the delay in completion of the Kakuku-Ekalakala-Matu Road in Machakos County? And what is the current status and projected timelines for its completion? B, are there any plans for the construction of a bridge to connect Thika River Ekalakala Isukoni ya Kadhini in Masinga Sub-County, Machakos County? C, when does the government plan to commence the reconstruction of Miu Yanganga Bridge in Masinga Sub-County, Machakos County, which was swept away by floods in 2019? And what are the projected timelines for its completion? D, what are the budgetary allocation for these projects in the 2024-2025 financial year? Thank you.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond to that question. Just wait now.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me straight go to the first question. The main reason, Speaker, honorable members, for the delay of upgrading to equipment standard and performance-based periodic maintenance of Matu, Ikalakala, Kankuku, and Junction A3, Kathulani, Junction 439 Road is as a result of financial difficulties facing the main contractor. The project was contracted to Quito Civil Engineering Company Limited in 2017 and has faced significant challenges in completion. Having exhausted all administrative controls, the ministry commenced the process of terminating the contractor in October 2019 through KERA to allow for retendering of the works. The contractor, however, contested the termination in court, following which the matter was referred for arbitration. The contractor then requested to subcontract the works as an alternative to avert a lengthy litigation process that would further delay progress, and the request was granted in the interest of the greater public. Subsequently, honorable members, has over time entered into several subcontracting agreements to facilitate the completion of works. 20th February 2023, when Lido Supplies and General was brought on board. As at now, the subcontractor have collectively the Kalakala Matu and the Junction A3 Tulani Junction, C439 Road, section translating to 54% completion status with some 92, almost 93 months, which is really totally, that's the elapsed time. However, on March 2024, the subcontractor left site citing non-payment of dues. The ministry has recently paid a total of 88 million Kenya shillings to the contractor of the project through what we recently did to raise funds, and the subcontractor has since committed to resume works before the end of June 2025. Allow me to basically follow up and confirm that, because we did a settlement agreement to pay pending bills, and one of the conditions in the settlement agreement was resumption of works to receive that 40% payment. We are planning to pay an additional 40% before the end of this month, and it will be based on performance. So I'll be following up, Mheshimiwa Senator, to confirm that resumption has happened, because we can all agree that that has not been acceptable. But with the myriad of court processes and pending bills, with the solution having been reached through the recent payment, allow me to basically address that. On the second question, we are aware of the need to construct a structure to facilitate access along the Thika River, Galagala, Ishuko, Yakathini Road, C438 in Masinga constituency to connect in Machakos County. The road serves as a link to Ikalakala ward in accessing roads such as Mutasha, Ithanga Hills, and the larger Masinga Ndithini region. The cost of constructing an adequate structure is Kenya shillings 20 million, and the construction shall be undertaken upon availability of funding. Not a very adequate. Allow me again to pay attention to that and see how we can quickly expedite funding for this particular bridge. On the third question, I wish to state that the reference Miu Yanganga Bridge in Masinga Sub-County has been designed for construction as a twin cell box. Is aware of the importance of the structure as it links the Kayole Mataka Kikule Road in Masinga constituency, Machakos County, providing a key transport link across the Miu Yanganga River and improving access within the Ndithini area. The cost of constructing the structure is estimated at 15 million, and a funding request for the same has been raised for consideration. The ministry through KERA shall procure and undertake works on the structure as soon as a budgetary provision is made and let me also undertake to follow up that, because it's one thing to build roads with no structures connecting the two roads. And on the final one, the two structures were not allocated a budget on the financial year 2024-25, since they are at preliminary pre-construction stages, including designing of the structures. But that was 2024-2025. Allow me also to check, Honorable Senator, the status in the current budget 25-26, and I will do that. I thank you.
Do you have a supplementary question to that? Senator Kavindu.
Yes, Madam Speaker, thank you. Sorry, my voice is disappearing, but I'll try to strain. Bwana CS, you know, like that Kadhini, in 2016 we lost 5 people. They were drowned, and to date they've not been compensated. And those people, when they want to go to Masinga, which is their local town, they go through 3 counties. They go through Muranga, they go through Kiambu, come back to Machakos, going to Thika, if they want to go by road. And the way they cross there by just simple boats that they construct. Bwana CS, I really expect you to do something about these people of Machakos County so that they can cross those rivers in a dignified manner. The other one at Miu Yanganga, Bwana CS, those people cross there, even small children going to school across the river, they cross there in a very undignified manner, and most of them are eaten, are attacked by crocodiles and hippos from the river. And if you see the cost, if you check the cost of compensating one person who has been killed by a hippo or a crocodile, is 5 million. So if we lose as many people as we are losing, we've already compensated 9 people. That is 9 times 5 million. If you do the cost of compensating the people and building the bridge, to build a bridge is cheaper than compensating the people when they die. And we are talking of school children who are crossing those rivers going to school the other side. So, Bwana CS, kindly, I hope Madam Speaker will give you maybe a very limited time to respond to this so that we can move forward and my people of Machakos can be adequately supported by this government. And this road I'm talking about was launched, I remember when I was in Jubilee.
Senator Kavindu.
No, let me just finish this. It's a little one. It's just a little one I'm doing.
Listen, Senator Kavindu.
In 2017 is when I spoke about this road.
Kavindu,
and this is 2025.
Senator Kavindu, you need to abide when the Speaker calls you to respond. Senator Kavindu, you are getting out of order. Resume your seat. Honorable CS, proceed.
Honorable Speaker, in the interest of time, I think Senator Kavindu was just stressing the importance of getting these 2 crossings to be built, and I undertook that I will really pursue the 2 bridges. In fact, we have some funding to address bridges in Kenya because we all have challenges with crossing across many rivers across the whole country. So, Senator Agnes Kavindu, I undertook, I will address the 2. I thank you.
Next question. And you'll be very brief, Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your consideration. Bwana CS, I have these few questions about a road. And A, could Cabinet Secretary provide a status update on the upgrading of the bitumen standard of the 25 Mombasa Road, Deviki Kinanie Park, Kinanie Leather Park Road in Machakos County, which was allocated 1.779 141.98 by allocating by the Kenyan Urban Road Authorities, KURA, and explain how the road works align with the contract terms and road design specifications. B, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the reason for the delay in the completion of the project, which commenced on 15th July 2021 with a contract period of 36 months and expected completion of 14th July 2024. C, what measures has the ministry put in place to ensure the timely completion of all the current complete road projects by KURA and the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA, in Machakos County, and could the Cabinet Secretary provide respective timelines on the same? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. Allow me to rush through this question very quickly, because I did visit this road in the last 3-4 weeks. Defki Kanani Park, or to Kanani Leather Park, which is a big special economic zone out there in Machakos County, and which has a contractor called China Aerospace on the contract amount of 1.785. This road is a significant artery that will open job opportunities in the leather processing park, in what our president normally refers to. It's a ready market, because we need to make, to value add our leather to make shoes for our school-going children. There's a ready market from leather, which today is not processed and sometimes being fed to the dogs. And Senator Kavindu, I've been told to personally supervise that road and complete it in the next 6 months. That road has now been provided full funding, and the contractor will not stop until completion. Let me just answer that on that particular road, and I have driven on that road in the last 3 weeks. We've provided full funding, more importantly, because it's important to do the road, but we need to open Kanani Leather Park. And therefore, I want to assure you, within the next 6 months, in spite of the status of the road today, we'll complete construction of that road. I think that would suffice to answer A, B, and C. And I can undertake that because I've been told to personally take on that project to ensure that we open Kanani Leather Park. With respect to the roads which are currently going on in Machakos County, is that number C? Following the clearance of most of the bending bills, which we have just done, we didn't really complete. We paid 40%, and we are paying another 40% in a short while, maybe by end of this month. The contractor resumed works and requested an extension time, which was reviewed and approved, setting the revised completion for the project to 2026. But this is the one which I've said we are not giving up to 2026. We need to finish before the end of this, in the next 6 months, which is just by end of year. Again, because in the interest of time and I see the mood of the House, I've given a schedule of all the roads in the county, very comprehensive. Allow me not to go through it. I've mentioned, for example, Kenol, Ngoleni, Kaani, Muthituni, Kaseve, with Nyoro construction, a road length of 38 kilometers, the cost of the project, what we've been able to do. And the schedule is basically clear there. You will basically see amounts that we paid in 24-25, and to the extent that we have cleared or paid 40% of the pending bills, and we have another 40% to pay for the outstanding pending bills. We are pushing contractors to get back to work and do what they must do, and allow me to basically stop on that, because the table bringing out the various roads in the county is being presented in a fairly clear way. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable CS. And I believe the second question is answered effectively. You have an extra question. I was hoping that you would not have. Do you have a supplementary? Would you, Senator Agnes, in the interest of time, just ask one question, then others can have an opportunity to ask.
Actually, I won't ask any other question. I'm satisfied. If I have any other question, I'll get back to them again. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Agnes. We go back to the order paper, and I want to request Senator for Nandi, Senator Samson Chiradike, to proceed with question number 73.
Finally,
and to always be patient, because your turn will still come. Proceed.
Madam Speaker, but we must also stick to standing order 45.
Just proceed to the question.
So that
proceed
we don't
to the
lose touch.
question.
Madam Speaker, I read question number 073 and I request to read both concurrently since they are short. Madam Speaker, to the CS, what is the current status of the redesign, reclassification, and proposed expansion of Eldoret, Kapsabet, Chavakali Road, and Kapsabet, Nandils, Awasi, Chemelil Road? And secondly, Madam Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary provide the projected timelines and budgetary allocations for their implementation? My second question, Madam Speaker, is question number 074, sorry, to the Cabinet Secretary. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide the implementation status and expected timeline for the expansion of Nairobi, Nakuru, Eldoret corridor inclusive of Malaba, particularly the dualling of Rironi Nakuru and Nakuru Eldoret Malaba highways, which are critical in easing congestion along the northern corridor? And finally, Madam Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary indicate the identity of the contractor for the projects as well as the funding arrangements? I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Chiradike. Honorable CS, you may proceed to answer. That means you have been combined for question number 73 and 74, I believe.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Senator Chiradike, for those questions. The current status of design for Eldoret, Kapsabet, Chavakali, and Kapsabet Chemelil. Honorable Speaker, redesign, the current status of the inquired road is as follows. I thought there was a question in the written question about Moiben Junction, Eldoret Town, all the way to Mlango, the sides of what do you call the teachers college there? Mosoriot.
Have you added an additional one?
No, it was in the question, so allow me to answer, though the senator did not speak to it. Let me answer as follows. Kenya, though you didn't mention, but it's in the written question. Kenya has completed the design of the 55-kilometer Moiben junction. That is towards the Iten side, though we'll go a bit towards Elgeyo Marakwet and go towards Chepkoilel University on the Duoling, through Eldoret town, through airport to Mlango shopping, but we want to come towards the teachers training college there. Did you say, is it called Mosoriot Teachers College? We think that is the place where the dueling should start. The designs have been completed. We are looking for funding to basically decongest the town and get movement of people from Mosoriot Teachers, not Mlango, all the way to towards Chepkoilel University. With respect to Mlango, Kapsabet, Chavakali, we don't yet have any designs, but on the first one we have designed and we are finalizing the funding. On the reclassification of Eldoret, Kapsabet, Chavakali, and Kapsabet, Chemelil Road section, this was done in 2020 from Class C to Class B, and we are currently revalidating, given the current court ruling, the recent court ruling, which kind of declared the classification of roads unconstitutional, including that Section 6 of KRB Act on the sharing of RMLF levy. So we are working on that, but that has been done and upgraded from C to B. With respect to the design of the 50, I've talked to that. Let me not repeat the Moiben Junction. I've said we're coming to the Teachers College all the way to Moiben and go towards the university and towards the 10. With respect to the maintenance of the Eldoret, Chebarbar, Kapsabet, Nandi Hills, and Kapsabet, Chepsonoi, and periodic maintenance contract for Javakali, Chepsonoi, which was also in the question paper, that is ongoing, and the works under those contracts are expected to commence shortly because they went to tender. I think we had to retender because there was a small challenge. The design of the 55-kilometer Moiben Junction, Eldoret Town Road, Airport, Mlango Shopping Road is complete. And like I said again, I don't know why I've repeated myself quite a bit on that, but we have stretched from Mosoriot all the way to what I did mention. The next question with respect to 74, let me just quickly go to 74, and because of time again, I'll spend a bit of time with Cherargei outside here because I understand that region well and we are doing quite a bit of some work there. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide implementation status and timelines for the expansion of Nakuru? Just to remind ourselves, Nairobi, Nakuru, that is Rironi. Rironi is where the current dueling ends and goes all the way to Nakuru, to Eldoret, and all the way to Malaba. We've done, let me just go in a structured way. The Ministry of Roads and Transport, through the designated contracting and implementing authority, Kenya, is preparing to launch a new procurement. I think this answer was written a while ago. We are in the process of project development under the PPP process. We have gotten a number of concession proponents, and they are currently going through development phase, and we expect, all going well, to break ground before the end of August for Rironi, Nakuru, Mau Summit. And we will do Rironi, Maimayu, Naivasha as a bypass. It is called A8 South. So we'll do A8, A8, which is Rironi, Naivasha, Nakuru, all the way to Mau Summit. And we'll also dual A8 South, which is Rironi, Maimayu, Naivasha, to be able to remove that challenge. challenge of congestion on that road. So as we speak, we don't have a contractor. They are currently being evaluated through the PPP process. They are at development phase. So when you drive on that road today, you will find some people drilling the road to check the profile of the geotechnical work in terms of the structure of the soils. We have given them some 10 days to finish that and give us the response, so that if we were to award, we'll then be able to answer the second question on who are the contractors.
Senator Mofaya, you are bordering on being out of order now. You cannot do your phone call within Senate when the Cabinet Secretary is responding.
So I thought it was a supplementary question, sorry. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Cherargei will be able to pronounce who are the contractors as soon as the PPP Directorate does. And we are really working with speed, because we do appreciate that Kenyans have suffered on this road with the kind of congestion, sometimes people sleeping on the road. So we expect to break ground, given successful process, we'll be able to break ground before the end of August next month. With respect to the design of Chepterit, Eldoret, Leseru Junction, the design proposes dualing the whole length of road from Cheptiret to Leseru Junction, and construction shall be carried out again because Mheshimiwa Cherargei knows this road very well. We are going to work from this side called Kiblaskei, go through Eldoret town, all the way to Mailetisa in Leseru side on that side. We can have more discussion on that outside because of time. I think I've adequately addressed Cherargei's question. Thank you.
Senator Cherargei, do you have a supplementary? Yeah, can proceed.
I'll just give one supplementary for the entire questions, Madam Speaker, so that I can allow my colleagues. Just one comment, one question to the CS. Of all these roads that interconnects between Chavakali, Kapsabet, and Nandils, there are roads like Nandil, Simaki, Tulua, Chepterua, Chepsaita, Madam Speaker, and repair of Chepterit Mo University, where they are using Maram and Tamak instead of using Tamak. That is Chepterit Mo University. And then there is this road of Jemuswa Danger. They are all interlinked and Celia. I'm happy, Madam Speaker, through the CS that Celia, Talai, and Timborwa, Maraba, Potapoto, the contractor is on site. But on these other roads from Nandil, Sibaki, Tulua, Chepterua, Chepsaita, Chepterit Mo University, and Chemuswa Danger, there is nothing on it. Can the CS, as they say in Catholic, sema neno moja tu na roho yangu itapona? Can he say something about this interconnect road? I thank you.
Senator Cherargei, do you need your roho to ponya, and why are you mixing the parliamentary languages? Proceed, Honorable CS. I hope you do understand the two languages.
Honorable Speaker, members, I think we've done quite a bit to unlock, like Chemuswa Danger on the other side, it is the same contractor and they have started from one side. Do we move the contractor to the other side? Do we get two gangs so that one gang starts from the other side? And yes, we are able to do that given the fact that we've lately paid the contractors. And I'd like to encourage members, when you drive past and meet some of these contractors, we need to talk to them. They were in a really very sorry state. We owed them money, they owed subcontractors money, they owed suppliers of cement, steel, they didn't pay salaries. But with the unlocking of that challenge, I want to confirm that, without repeating, that all those roads that Senator has talked about are funded in the current financial year. And I would like to spend some time with Senator to confirm that, and therefore, and it's the same thing across the whole country. We've really done fairly well with the unlocking of the bending bills and ensuring that every road that has a contractor has at least a milestone funding in the year 25-26 to ensure that we do not only pay them for the bending bills, but we have money to pay them for the subsequent certificates they are yet to give us. All those roads, Senator, have been funded. And I want to spend some time outside here with you sometimes to confirm that. I thank you.
I'll allow Senator Joyce, Senator Bonnie Halwale to ask supplementary questions on that. Senator Joyce.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I would want to really appreciate the CS for the way he's handling the ministry, but I still have one question, which I know is brief to it. I don't know what the plans the ministry has concerning a road that is sharing the same problem with what Honorable Gerarge has said, that is the road from Chebole to Shongiroi to Emurwadigir, Silibwet, Olengurwani, Silibwet, Chamaner, and Kiagong, Sigor. What are the plans that the ministry has? Because these are the roads that have been having a challenge with the bending bills, and they have been in construction for the last 4 years, and the same roads are also getting worn out before even they are completed. Can the CS respond to that? Thank you.
Senator Joyce, I think you've breached the rule of giving a supplementary question springing from the principal question, but I do not know whether those places you have mentioned are connected to the roads that Senator Cherargei asked about, and whether Honorable CS would be prepared to answer that from top of his head without having prepared for it. Honorable CS, are you able to respond to that? It has no relation. He's the CS for transport and roads in Republic of Kenya. So let him respond for himself. CS, Honorable CS.
Thank you, Speaker. I drove on that road called Daraja Sita, Chebole this weekend, and I think they'll finish recarpeting in the next 2 weeks. With respect to Chebole, Labotiet Digir, we are reconstructing starting this financial year. Kiogong, Sigor, Chebunyo is ongoing because of the bending bills payments. The contractor is on site, and the Senator may be aware of that. And on Silibwet, Merigi, Kapkimolu, Alongisa, the contractor is on site. I think he's giving us an additional certificate. We paid the bending bills in December, and they have done 7 kilometers of tarmac, and we have money to pay, and it will continue for the next milestone. Thank you. Olengurwane, which one is that? Olengurwane to Silibwet on the other side. We also funded it in this kind of financial year, and we'll be tendering for that road to be rebuilt. I thank you.
Senator, thank you, CS. Senator Bonnie Halwale.
Madam Speaker, on question 74, dwelling Rironi all the way up to Malaba. When Cabinet first announced, you told the country that that's exactly the project you're going to do. But now, in the House, you have shifted goalposts. You are saying you'll stop at Mau Summit so as to allow you to now go to Mai Mahiu and hopefully Narok. Are you doing this, Minister, so as to once again lock out Western Kenya from this modern process? My last question, Madam Speaker, is on 73 about Kapsabet Chabakali Road. Madam Speaker, this road reaches Chepsonoi, goes to Chabakali, and goes to Shinyalu and Kakamega. The President announced 2 months ago, while at Shinyalu Market, that he's putting money on this road. Chepsonoi, Shinyalu, Kakamega. Can you confirm that this project is on and when the construction is going to start? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. I think the concessioning, like was asked of a bridge is subject to an investor being able to get return on investment as to whether the road can return on the investment at a rate that is attractive to be able to build the road. And at the moment, the traffic between Rironi, Nakuru, and I think we've moved all the way to Mau Summit, interest from the investors. Mau Summit, Eldoret, all the way to the border. PS Kipto has just come back from China, and Asian Investment and Infrastructure Bank has expressed interest. And so we are working on that section of the road, albeit it may not have the kind of traffic to attract investment, put through this Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, which and we'll be working to finalize that. Last Friday, and to just remind us that Kenya is an anchor state with the advantage of Mombasa port servicing Uganda, Kigali, all the way to DRC and South Sudan. It is in our interest to open the corridors so that we do the transit trade and take advantage or competitive opportunity as a country while we service those countries complete at the border. And then, like I said, Asia working with us on that road. Sonai and to Kakamega. Again, we can have a discussion outside here. It's close, so they are closing tomorrow, and it was retendered. We'll award are available. Challenge, and it was retendered, and we seek time at building that road. Thank you, honorable members. Really lay clarity on any areas on the road infrastructure for this country. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable CS. We'll now go to question number 88. Senator for the Rakanidi County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to know from the CS roads criteria that the roads board uses to determine the allocation of the roads maintenance levy, RMLF to each county. But two, Honorable Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the significant reduction in the RMLF allocation in the Rakanidi County from 111 million in the financial year 2023-2024 to 70 million in the financial year 2024-2025?
Honorable CS.
Honorable Speaker, I actually thought we had finished, but let me go through this very quickly. The road maintenance levy is allocated in accordance with the criteria provided in Kenya Roads Board Act 1999, I think Section 6. From 2015 to 2016, 2020 to 2021, the road maintenance levy was allocated to the roads agencies as tabulated in that table: 40% to Kenya, 21.8% to Kenya Rural, and Kenya Urban had 10.2%. County governments had 15%. Allocation, which was a special for emergencies and for disaster, and which sat in the CSS office, was 10%. Kenya Wildlife Service was 1%, and 2% for Kenya Roads Board, totaling 100%. Effective July 2021, honorable members, the conditional RMLF allocation to counties was discontinued with the National Treasury, including this allocation as part of the equitable share of revenue to counties. The 15% road maintenance levy fund allocation to counties therefore reverted to Kera and Kura, because you know this RMLF is a conditional, it's really a levy for maintaining roads, and it can only be used for roads, and therefore otherwise it can only be a conditional grant. The county governments additional allocation bill 2024 proposed to allocate some 10.52211853, that is 10.5 billion from RMLF to the 47 counties in the financial year 2024-2025. A formula for determining the quantum allocation to each of the 47 counties was therefore developed under a multi-agency approach that included the Commission of Revenue Allocation, a National Treasury, and the Kenya Roads Board. The formula took into account 5 factors, including basic equal share, length of the road, network and proportion of paved and unpaved road in each county, the climate condition, the soil types, the rural index, which include including the traffic on the roads, the class of the road, which is not mentioned here, and all those factors, all those are factored in the formula to the allocation. Each of those factors, honorable members, was assigned weights as tabulated in that table, which I don't wish to go through, in terms of weight of main criteria and sub-criteria and weight of and percentages thereof. These criteria were to take effect in the financial year 2024-25 in the event that the county governments were to benefit from the road maintenance levy allocation. However, the proposed allocation of 10.5 billion was the subject of dispute between the National Assembly and the Council of Governors, resulting in a court case that was determined sometimes last month. Yes, in November 2024, Kenya Roads Board dispersed 3.682774,149 billion to, or 3.68 billion to counties using the formula, with Tharaka Nithi receiving 55.9 million as shown in the response there. Kenya Roads Board honorable members did not allocate funds to counties in the financial year 23-24. Going forward, Kenya Roads Board may resume allocating roads maintenance levy to the counties based on the guidance of this House and the High Court. But let me hasten to say there's been further development since I gave that response to the House, that after the court ruling, we are working with the National Assembly and will be coming to the Senate to agree on the formula and the sharing, because the court did declare Section 6 of the KRB Act, which has that formula, unconstitutional. So we need to amend that section quickly through the two houses. Is a devolved function with policy and certain aspects being with the national government and the county government having certain aspects as defined in the Constitution. And therefore, we are working quickly to unlock Act unconstitutional with respect to some section 7 on the classification of counties in the share of road maintenance levy fund. The state working very closely with the Senate, because that is a bill amendment or an amendment that basically will require passing. And if we work closely together so that we avoid mediation, we'll be able to unlock that challenge and be able to disperse RMLF to support, manage our roads, which are not in very good state, particularly after the April rains. Let me stop there and thank the House again for inviting me. And Honorable Chair, I can take any.
You are not yet done
Thank
until you are discharged by the Chair. You still have a supplementary question from Senator Gataya.
Honorable Speaker, formula which has all through proved to be very discriminative. Madam Speaker, if you go to the Tharaka-Nithi, we have very many stoned road projects. I'm very sure Honorable Waziri is aware. He must be aware of a road which originates from some parts in Tharaka. This is Gatonga, Marimandi, Chakariga. This road that is stalled for close to 15 years. Actually, this road is peeling off. Even the parts that were done is already, those parts are already peeling off, and we have witnessed several accidents for the last few years. We also have a road from Mutindwa, Kombogori, all the way to Itombani in Ichogoria, and several other roads, Madam Speaker, that have stalled out of this discriminative formula, which related some part of the country, including the Tharaka-Nithi. So what is this the ministry is doing to make sure that we have equality, we have balanced the distribution of these funds, to make sure that every part of this country is served equally, to make sure that all the roads are done? Because we have seen some parts of this country terribly neglected in terms of road network. What is your ministry doing to make sure that we balance the equation, to make sure that everybody benefits?
Yes, CS, you can proceed to answer that.
I think, let me respond again and thank you for the supplementary question, Honorable Speaker, Senator. With respect to really when we spend time to see what we've been able to do with securitization of a portion of the road maintenance levy in line with Section 32 of KRB Act, Section 32 of RMLF Act, Section 32 of RMLF Act, we've been able to raise funds and address some of the challenges facing our roads. A number of them were bending bills, a number of them were maintenance challenges, because the maintenance vote alone from RMLF may not be adequate to maintain all our roads. And I want to confirm that the formula that has been developed to take care of length of roads, the traffic on the roads, the class of the road, and so on and so forth, will distribute, is basically meant to share the revenues from RMLF between the national government for purpose of maintaining national roads, depending on the class of the road, and the county government. And we are quickly working through that amendment so that we can unlock the challenge. But like I said, that securitization has unlocked a lot of challenges and given us liquidity to address some of the challenge roads like Chakarika, Marimanti, Katunga, the 36-kilometer road, which is in a bit of a state of disrepair. And I want to confirm to the Senator that this road has received attention, and in this financial year, we'll start recarpeting that road. Among us, the many other projects within that county of Tharaka-Nithi that is receiving attention, like all the other counties in Kenya. And so I can confirm that Chakarika, Marimanti, Katunga, 36 kilometers will be recarpeted this financial year. I thank you.
Thank you, CS. Senator George Bogwa. Can you give him the mic?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. CS, in the previous financial year, there was some money which were allocated and disbursed to counties, but they didn't clear pending bills for the contractors. What is your ministry doing through the Kenya Roads Board to ensure that the counties don't start new projects before they pay the pending bills for the work which was done previously? Thank you.
CS.
I think with respect to really accounting standard and fast charge, where debt should really be paid ahead of even paying ourselves salaries, what we have done with the securitized 7 shillings is accrued all the pending bills for every road in Kenya, and we will clear those pending bills with the raising of that 175 billion. So the pending bills up to December 2024 will really be addressed without any favor in terms of, like we've paid everybody for the first 40% of the amount we owe. We are paying the next 40% of the balance by end of this month, maybe first week of August. And what we did in the budgeting before really picking on any new project is to make sure we provided funding for at least 1.5 or 2 certificates for the works, for the new certificates that will come, so that we don't accrue pending bills again. So in terms of, and I agree with Senator, in terms of prioritization, it would really not be right to just be developing new programs when we are not paying pending bills. So we are paying all the pending bills up to December, and we provided for funding and liquidity to make sure that we are able to pay for at least 1 certificate that is accomplished by the contractors. So I want to assure this House, Honorable Speaker, members, that we are on top of this, and we'll try to, as much as possible, minimize that challenge of accruing pending bills while we are developing new projects. Again, thank you, Speaker.
Senator Dan Manzo, did you have a question? Or it was
well, the question I had with the CS is a little bit different, although related to a question he asked that much earlier as to what happened. Because Ari alone, he had been here, and I'd asked him a question, and he promised to see me at his office, but that never happened. So what happened to Kia Emali?
CS, that's a concern. It's a genuine concern. You could address it.
When I was coming into the House this morning, Senator came to receive me, and I thought we had agreed on how we were going to sort that out. So I'll be seeing the Senator hereafter to address that. But I guess because of just call of duties, I can see Senator Manzo and address that challenge. But I didn't quite hear the first part of the question. I wish to more on a serious note address. Was there a question? You saw me struggling to hear. Sorry. Thank you. Ukia Emali has now been funded. You are aware we closed the bids for Ukia Emali. Is it Emali Ukia, or is it Emali Ukia? There was a fight when we were advertising on to whether we should publish it as Ukia Emali or Emali Ukia. But that has been advertised, it has been closed, it's undergoing evaluation. We have funded in the current financial year to be able to have mobilization and funds for the first milestone. And Ukia Emali will start in due course. I thank you.
So, Honorable CS, I want to thank you on behalf of the House for the questions you have responded. Senator Abbas, you had a question? Yes. You don't appear on the dashboard, but you can proceed and ask the question. Thank you so much. Now that we have a few minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to first thank the Minister. I think it's been a long day for him. Honorable CS, my question is about the northern road. The road that goes from Selo to Mandera. I want to thank the President for standing firm to see that that road is actually on progress. It is progressing. However, there are some challenges, especially delay of payments. Some sections have started, some sections have not started. But however, the other one has been, the one for Samatar Wajir has been already been advertised. I saw it yesterday. But the 2 sections that were under annuity, that is Madogash, Samatara, and Rambo Mandera. What is the position of the annuity? Because the last time the President has promised that the Ken House is going to take over, or the government is going to take over. to ensure that this road is done completely and not in patches. Thank you so much.
Senator Abbas, that's a road that is notoriously known in Kenya, especially in the social media.
The road that has brought a lot of interest,
the one
actually.
that has brought a lot of attention.
A lot of interest, yeah. And it's become popular,
you
actually.
could speak into it.
Habari muhimu ni zile zinazoathiri maisha yako, na zinapojiri tuko hapo.
Tunakuletea habari zinazojiri nchini na kimataifa.
Hakuna kabila ambayo iko hapa Kenya kwa mwaliko ya mwingine.
Mambo ya matibabu isiwe starehe ya watu wadosi.
Tunakufahamisha kila wakati ili uwe tayari kwa yajayo.
We will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Katika ulimwengu unaosonga kwa kasi, usahihi wa habari ni muhimu.
The only thing that has changed, Senator Khalwale, is that you are defending the indefensible.
If you allow me as a bullfighter, I'll fix him here and now, and it will be sorted out.
You were doing very well until you brought out your character of bullfighting.
Tunakupa habari sahihi na zisizoegemea upande wowote.
Pindi tu walioteuliwa wataidhinishwa na bunge la kitaifa.
Na ni hapa ndipo
Darubini,
kila siku ya Jumatatu na Jumanne
saa 1 jioni.